North Dakota is providing energy to the world, and John Hoeven is working to ensure North Dakota remains an energy powerhouse long into the future. John Hoeven works for North Dakota. Paid for by Hoeven for Senate.
And now, steering you towards great food and fun in our listening area, it's time for our dining and entertainment guide.
Your favorite small town bar is open and invites you to stop in and say hi, grab a cold one, and play a game of pool or darts. The on-tap selection has new fall flavors. For dinner, fun, or just for one, remember Fred's Den, downtown Jamestown. And remember,
shut the front door!
Who doesn't love a fun job with great pay? Look no further than Johnny B's Brickhouse. Yeah, the restaurant downtown. They're hiring for their kitchen, day and evening shifts, paying from $13 to $17 an hour. Curious? Apply at Johnny B's Brickhouse, 215 First Avenue South, Jamestown, or on their Facebook page.
Coming up next at the Horseshoe Saloon in Grand Rapids. Celebrate the Thanksgiving weekend with a 60s and 70s night. The theme is hippie style. Dinner special will be their hearty homemade beef stew with Texas toast. For more info, check their Facebook page or call the Horseshoe Saloon at 883-4216.
My name is Nick Thornton, and I'm running for District Court Judge. I don't run negative attack ads. I want to talk with you about my qualifications, about my temperament, about my experience, and about my integrity, and why I'm the best candidate for the District Court Judgeship. Please research the candidates. You can find more information about me at thorntonforjudge.com or search Thornton for Judge on Facebook. I appreciate your vote on November 8th.
Paid for by the committee to elect Thornton for District Court Judge.
Here's your Ag Central weather forecast from meteorologist Mick Kerr. Increasing clouds this afternoon. Look for breezy conditions later on. Out of the south at about 10 to 20, high temperatures in the upper 40s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, very windy as well. Morning low in the low 30s, high temperature in the mid 40s. West winds 15 to 30, gusting as high as 45. Monday through Thursday looking cloudy and breezy with some precipitation. For more weather, log on to our website, newsdakota.com.
The voice of the valley, KOVC.
Baby, lock the door and turn the lights down low, and put some music on that's soft and slow. Baby, we ain't got no place to go. I hope you understand, I've been thinking about this all day long. Never felt a feeling quite this strong. I can't believe how much it turns me on just to be your man. There's no hurry, don't you worry. We can take our time. Come a little closer, let's go over what I had in mind. Baby, lock the door and turn the lights down low. Put some music on that's soft and slow. Baby, we ain't got no place to go. I hope you understand, I've been thinking about this all day long. Never felt a feeling quite this strong. I can't believe how much it turns me on just to be your man. Ever love nobody the way that I love you. We're alone now, you don't know how long I've wanted to. Lock the door and turn the lights down low, and put some music on that's soft and slow. Baby, we ain't got no place to go. I hope you understand, I've been thinking about this all day long. Never felt a feeling that was quite this strong. I can't believe how much it turns me on just to be your man. I can't believe how much it turns me on just to be your man.
Hi, this is Josh Kozowski from Bank Forward, and you're listening to the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
The following is a presentation of KOVC Sports and the I3G Media Sports Network.
Viking football is on the air on the Voice of the Valley, KOVC. Viking football is brought to you by CHI Mercy Health, Dairy Queen, RE/MAX Now of Valley City and Jamestown, Mobility Plus Rehabilitation, LaRue Lockow Financial, Sanford Health, Central Avenue Health Mart Pharmacy, Bank Forward and Insure Forward, Brothers 3, Levers Foods, Valley City State University, Valley Meat Supply, Grotberg Electric, Ivy Real Estate Group, Professional Eye Care Centers, Highline Electric, Jamestown Regional Medical Center, and Rambo.
We welcome each and every one of you this afternoon to Locken Stadium and Shelley Ellig Field here in Valley City as we get set for the final home game of the regular season for Valley City State University Viking football. All good things must come to an end, right? And today we get into the final home game with the final game of the season coming up next week and a change involved with that game that we'll talk about throughout the course of this one. But the Vikings come home today to take on Presentation College in the final game at home, as we mentioned, for Valley City State University Viking football on the season. A disappointing loss last week as the Vikings were beaten by Dickinson State. And so the Vikings come into this matchup today with a record of 2-2 in the league, 3-5 overall. Presentation College also 2-2 in the league, 3-6 overall. And with that loss last week for the Vikings, obviously the hope of a conference championship is really out of the realm of possibility for 2022. And what you'll hear coming up later on in our pregame report from Dennis McCulloch, the head coach of the Vikings, is that at the beginning of the week, there was some hangover there. These players now realizing that there's no conference title, there's no banner to hang, there's no opportunity to move on to the playoffs, even though the playoffs were going to be a bit of a challenge going into last week in the first place. But even if you can't make the playoffs, you want to try to win that conference championship and put something of your career up on the wall. And Dickinson State was the team that stood against the Vikings last week. It was a one-score game. 21-13 was the final score out in Dickinson. A better effort for Valley City State the second time around than it was when they played Dickinson State here in homecoming and really had a tough time with the Blue Hawks in that matchup. But in the end, a little bit too much Dickinson State in that matchup last week. As you can hear, we've got a breeze in the background. It's chilly. It's going to be really the hardy faithful that will be here today. Although, with the sun open and not a single cloud in the sky, it does seem like it's a pretty good day today for football, even though we do have some challenging conditions out there when it comes down to a breeze here at Shelley Ellig Field. For the Vikings, you're going to hear from Dennis McCulloch today that this still matters, and that was the message that he reiterated to his team, is that even though some goals are out of reach, you've got 2 games left, and right now the challenge is to finish 500. You're at home today against Presentation College. You take on your rival Mayville State last week, and the challenge is to finish 5-5 and not have a losing season, and that matters. It matters to the future. It matters to how these players leave their careers behind. There's a lot of good players that are playing as seniors this year for Valley City State, and it's important for the fans as well to not go through what would be considered a losing season if you drop below 500. So today is a big game for Valley City State for personal pride. Next week will be a big game for personal pride as well. And then we're going to turn the page. There's already basketball being played here on campus and on the road. Today the Viking basketball teams are down in Sioux Falls. There's a volleyball tournament coming up next week as well in the North Star, and every season is made to have a page turn and move on to the next mission, if you will. And so that will really be what we start doing here today at Shelley Ellig Field and Locken Stadium. But we're glad that you joined us for it here today in Valley City. And we're hoping to have a really, really strong effort from the Vikings to give us something exciting to bring to you here this afternoon. Coming up in our pregame report, which is brought to you today by Sanford Health Valley City, here for all and here for good. We will talk with Dennis McCulloch in part one of that conversation, reviewing the Dickinson State game and how they just make it difficult to run the football. And Coach Mack will tell you it's just like pushing a button as far as replay when you're talking about Dickinson State. There's always one little thing somewhere along the way that gives Dickinson State the edge over the Vikings for the past several years. And so we'll talk about that in part two of our conversation with Dennis McCulloch. We'll talk about what's in store for this team for the final two games, how he delivered that message of not having a losing season, what it was like getting back into practice this week, and then the threat that Presentation College poses when they try to use some real solid athleticism out on the edge to exploit a defense that they're up against. And they've tried that a couple of times this year with a little bit of success. Coach Mack will tell us that they do have the players to match up on the edge against Valley City State. So a lot to come up in our pregame report. We'll also break down the keys for the game, brought to you by RE/MAX Now. Valley City and Jamestown, your starting lineups and football scheduled for 1 o'clock today. And as we mentioned, there's a change for next week's game, and we'll review that coming up here as well. So do stay with us. Viking football on the air today from Shelley Ellick Field and Locken Stadium. It's the Vikings and Presentation College today. Stay with us for what should be a fun Saturday afternoon of college football. We're back with more in a moment right here on the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
This is Viking football on KOVC, the voice of the Valley.
The keys to the game are brought to you by RE/MAX Now of Valley City and Jamestown. Just as the keys to today's game offer growth, success, and opportunity for the future, so do the keys to your new property. Whether you're looking for the keys to your starter home, the keys to home where you raised your family, the keys to your business, or the keys to your lake home or retirement property, for every step of the way, RE/MAX Now of Valley City and Jamestown are here for you. Check out our website, findrealtynow.com, for pictures and virtual tours.
They're getting ready for the holidays at Central Avenue Health Mart Pharmacy, your community Health Mart pharmacy. This Friday and Saturday, it's Save a Buck, Spend Some Dough days with a 30-pointer sale. Save 30% off crafts. On November 17th, take 10% off compression wear. November 21st is Central Craft Club. At 7 p.m., bring in any craft you want to work on. And the entire month of November, take 25% off jewelry. You'll find all your gifts and healthcare needs at Central Avenue Health Mart Pharmacy, downtown Valley City.
Now back to Viking football on the voice of the Valley, KOVC.
From Shelley Ellick Field and Locken Stadium in Valley City today, it's Viking football on the voice of the Valley, KOVC, and the voice of the Vikings, KOVC. Ryan Cunningham with you today. I believe Corey Anderson will be joining us once again for color commentary and analysis coming up closer to game time here this afternoon. It's a windy day. It's a sunny day. Going to be cooler than normal. Our weather forecast is definitely taking a turn on us over the next probably week or so. We're going to be experiencing some things like overnight lows in the upper single digits and daytime highs in the 20s, maybe a teens in there somewhere. So, yeah, Mother Nature's letting us know that this thing's going to happen. But the real factor today is the wind. As you can hear, it's pretty strong in the background. The interesting thing about the wind today is that the wind is out of the south today, and that is typically not something that happens once we get after the start of the football season. Normally we've kind of turned that wind to more of a northwest wind, but today that wind is out of the south, and it's got a good gust to it, and so that will be a factor in today's matchup as far as blowing the ball from one side to the other. But probably, you know, depending upon how it changes, there's a little bit of a change in it right now, perhaps coming out of the southeast, and so it may restrict your playbook a bit if you're moving from our right to left as we take a look at it today from Shelley Ellick Field. Let's take a look at Drive for the Title as we continue with our pregame report. Our pregame report today brought to you by Sanford Health Valley City, here for all and here for good. Drive for the Title will start first of all inside the North Star Athletic Association. It's all about Dickinson State now. If any of our teams are going to make their way to the playoffs, the Blue Hawks are ranked 21st in the country. They're on the inside path to win a conference championship, and the rules of the NAIA is that if you're going to make the playoff field of 16, you got to have two things going your way. Number one, you've got to be a conference champion, or you've got to be in the top 16, or you can do it this way, be a conference champion and be inside the top 20. Now, what ends up happening is that if you have a conference champion that's ranked 20th, 19th, they start bumping some teams that are up in the top 16. If you're not a conference champion up there, you get bumped out. You don't get an at-large bid. And so Dickinson State right now, the 21st team in the country, there are no fans of Dickinson State right now that are, those teams that are on the bubble, right? 14, 15, 16 that might not win their league championship. They're hoping for a Dickinson State loss down the stretch. Who cares who win the conference title out of the North Star? Nobody gets into the playoffs. But right now, the Blue Hawks with that 4-0 record in the league. They're in the driver's seat for that. Dakota State's 3-2. Waldorf, Valley City State, Presentation College, all 2-2. Iowa Wesleyan's 2-3. Mayville State University is 0-4 in the league coming into the day. And the games that we'll be watching this afternoon, Dickinson State is at Mayville State. Iowa Wesleyan plays at Waldorf. Those games are at 1 and 3 o'clock respectively. Our game kicks off at 1 o'clock between Presentation and Valley City State. We mentioned a bit about those new rankings for the week inside the NAIA because Dickinson State being at number 21. I mean, coaches do these things with just a little bit of subliminal messaging when they're taking a look at the ratings. They're going to keep Dickinson State right around 20 no matter what they do, just to give them the option of putting Dickinson State in the playoffs if they feel like they should, or keeping them out of the playoffs if they feel like they should. And so there's going to be a little politicking that goes on in that, but we did have new rankings that came out this week that shows that the Blue Hawks are number 21 in the country. So they're not in yet. Even with the conference championship, they're not in yet. As far as the national rankings are concerned, Morningside, 19 first place votes, still number 1. Grandview, Iowa, Northwestern Iowa go 2-3. Bethel of Tennessee's 4th, up 2 spots this week. Indiana Wesleyan stays in the number 5 spot. As far as some other notables from around us, College of Idaho out in the Frontier is currently 12th. Midland, Nebraska out of the Great Plains is 15th. We'll see Montana Tech out of the Frontier at number 20 at this point. And then, of course, we mentioned Dickinson State at number 21, and no one else from our league is getting votes. Rocky Mountain out in the Frontier did get votes, but did not get in to this week's poll. And that's Drive for the Title as we continue our Sanford Health Valley City pregame report, brought to you by Sanford Health, here for all and here for good. Let's go to our coaches' conversation today. Dennis McCulloch, the head coach of the Vikings, joining us for our pregame report. We asked a bit of a review of Dickinson State, and what Coach McCulloch said is, over the past several years, when you drop a game to the Blue Hawks, you could probably push the replay button on that comment. They make it hard to run the ball. It's a one-score game. There's usually something in the middle of that game that turns the entire game around on maybe a single play. He pointed out a touchdown just before halftime. That's really where that game turned last week out in Dickinson. Those thoughts from Dennis McCulloch on our pregame conversation.
I feel like I could have pushed this button for the last 7 years of how we answer this question with playing the Blue Hawks. So they've been a very good team, well-coached team. Just always impressed with the things that they do, and I'm disappointed in the sense where I thought we were playing at a level. We're definitely playing at a different level than the first time we played them. I think our guys had confidence. I had confidence going out there that, hey, this is going to be a good game. We're going to have a chance to win this thing. And I think that those things, when you look at the entire game, there's no question we played better and we gave ourselves opportunities to win. I mean, there's a couple plays in that game where, I'd love to take them back. That touchdown pass right before half. We just, our safety didn't manage it very well over the top, and we gave him an easy one, and that's a frustrating piece about we've had small pieces this year in every game. That's something we did wrong, and it made us pay big time, against that. We just couldn't recover, didn't do the things that we needed to do to get out of it. And so that's the tough part about this season, because I think we have, when you look at the talent level that we have, it's just disappointing where we didn't get ourselves to that level, and we were competing for, and talking about a win against Dickinson.
Coach, when teams are making it difficult to run the football, and Dickinson does that all the time, what things can you do? Is it just about what you have on the offensive line? Are there some new schemes you can pop to try to open up some holes? What's going through your mind when a team is just stifling the running game and you want to be a run-heavy team?
Yeah, I think that's a challenge for us, in the sense of, Coach York does a fantastic job. He's our offensive line coach. He's also our offensive coordinator. I mean, if there's a guy who has an adjustment to the run game, he's going to come up with it, and so when it's happening and those things are going on, I think, he's trying to make those adjustments and try to find those things that are going to give us an edge. And sometimes what happens, is they hit you on a couple of plays, and then you get out of like, oh, well, that didn't work. We're moving on from that play, but they may have blitzed or did something that unusual where we should have stayed with it. it's hard to go, okay, you keep pounding your head against it and hope these things are going to break out and that you believe that this should work and why, we got to get that fixed or we got to try to come up with something, some of those new pieces. Sometimes it's like, here's the things we work on day in and day out, our base stuff, and when they're not working, it's challenging to say we're going to have going to put this whole new scheme in and try to do something different. Hey, we're going to run fly sweep now, and well, that's just not our base. That's just not something that makes it difficult. So yes, then you put then we do go into being a one-dimensional team and trying to throw the ball and put it into our true freshmen, and that's difficult. And I think, and to be honest, most teams see that from us, and that's why you're going to load the box and try to stop the run and make that freshman beat you, and that's the challenge, And he did some good things. He created some positiveness for us, but it's still, it was a challenge on last Saturday for us to be able to get that done.
Part one of our coaches' conversation with Dennis McCulloch, the head coach of the Vikings here today. Corey Anderson joins us for color commentary and analysis. He knows his way around an offensive coordinator's booth, and we were talking with Coach Mack about what do you do when you get to a place and you've designed your team to be run heavy, and everything you try running the football just doesn't work. Can you come up with schemes, or is it too late at that point and you're making big adjustment? What's it like to be in a game like that, Corey?
Yeah, it is difficult, and I think one of the things that if you know that it's going to be hard to run the ball in the traditional method, then I think you need to look at passing the ball shorter, making the field wider, maybe the short passes being an extension of your run game. Just trying to do some different things like that and isolating your best personnel on their weakest and trying to attack that and maybe forcing them to open things up a little bit, maybe get out of 8 guys in the box. And, that's the hope. It's just easier said than done.
Yeah, and it's amazing, isn't it, that Dickinson State, for whatever reason, they have been very good at making it tough to run the football. They always seem to recruit really solidly around a good nose guard and a good defensive tackle, and they somehow get it done.
Yeah, they have traditionally ran that odd man front and have 5 defensive linemen, so to speak, that they're playing there. And, when we've had success, it's because we have been able to get to the middle of the field with shorter passes and just, do some things that, again, finding their weak spot if they have one and taking advantage of it.
So now we get ready for Presentation College. Part 2 of our coaches' conversation is on the way in a couple of moments. Dennis McCulloch will tell us about a tough start to practice this week with the players realizing that a conference title is out of reach at this point, but still rebounding and getting ready to try to finish with a 500 record this year. And what does Presentation College do well? We'll also dive into our keys to the game, brought to you by RE/MAX Now Valley City, and get ready for starting lineups in football in a couple of moments here at Shelley Ellick Field and Lockett Stadium. The Vikings, Presentation College today. This is Viking football on the Voice of the Vikings and the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
This is Viking football on KOVC, the Voice of the Valley.
At Bank Forward, we focus on building relationships. Hi, I'm Kara Weep with Bank Forward in Valley City. Whether it's opening a checking account, saving for college, or starting your own business, Bank Forward is the bank big enough to help, but we're small enough to know your name. Call 845-1220 or visit bankforward.com today. Striving to be the bank that defines customer service since 1927. It's simply the Forward way. Bank Forward, member FDIC.
Now is the time, now is the time.
At CHI Mercy Health, we believe human kindness is at the root of all healing, providing care on a human level, courage when it's needed most, and a connection that's ever present among us all. Human kindness is meant to be shared. It puts a smile on someone's face and seeks to do the same for others. Take the time to nourish what's inside and watch your life flourish outside, because taking care of yourself is an act of human kindness. Just like human kindness, happiness can come from the most unexpected places. Whether it's from your friend, your dog, or a memory, embrace it and pass it on. CHI Mercy Health of Valley City.
Now back to Viking football on the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
Ryan Cunningham, Corey Anderson with you today from Lockett Stadium and Shelley Ellick Field in Valley City for the home finale for the year of Viking football as the Vikings take on Presentation College this afternoon. We continue with our pregame report brought to you by Sanford Health, here for good, here for all. Part 2 of our coaches' conversation with Dennis McCulloch, the head coach of the Vikings. One of the things you have to address at this point in the year, when the conference championship's out of reach, how do you respond? How do you go about motivating players to come back and put a good effort on the field when they realize some of their goals just aren't going to be reached because of the simple math of the conference standings at this point? We talked about that with Coach Mack. We also talked about what Presentation College does to threaten the Vikings. Part 2 of our coach's conversation with Dennis McCulloch this week on Viking football.
There's a disappointment in not seeing yourself have a chance at a conference championship and doing those things. So, every team that we started in January of last year talking about those focuses, when the end comes to that, it is hard. So, to tell anybody there's not any kind of bet, like we started the week, it's hard. It's hard to overcome and not start thinking about that. But the right now our focus is say, get back into finish the season, right? We've been improving each week. We've seen that improvement, right? To go play our best games, right, in the last 2 games of the year, and that's the challenge for us, is to come out and play great. Play our best big game today, and there's a lot of pieces that well, this doesn't matter now. Now everything matters, right? There's no matter what time of the year, to our kids it matters to have success and not to have a losing season, not to to go out on a high note for our senior. There's lots of things that matter to us, and this game means a lot to us, and the last 2 games mean a lot to us. So we're going to do everything we can to prepare ourselves. I thought the guys did a good job of washing off. We had probably a tough first day of practice this week, and then after that we got back into it, and our guys did a nice job. I think today we'll come out and play well.
And the final thing about Presentation College, they have a way of really mixing things up. They can come at you from a few different angles. They have a freshman quarterback as well, so you might be thinking about putting some pressure on, and he hasn't thrown the ball particularly well this year. So you must be feeling right now, from a defensive standpoint, eliminate their run. They're not going to beat you with the pass, and so that really, I suppose, is square one today.
Yeah, I think it's like anybody. You make somebody one-dimensional, you have a better chance. If they get into third and long situations, we feel like our D-line can win, right? That we can win in some of those scenarios, and that's the piece. They're talented enough on the outside. The piece for them has been protection, and can they get protection, right? And if they can, they're talented enough on the outside to match up with us, and that's the piece where we hope we're going to be able to get in those situations. You can slow them down, put them in third and long situations. We're gonna, our guys can win up front, and we're going to get pressure on the quarterback and make him make tough decisions, and that's the challenge for us today.
Those comments from Dennis McCulloch, the head coach of the Vikings, today in our coaches' conversation. Corey, let's address that first part that he talked about, which is you're now in the situation where you're in Game 9, and Dickinson State's probably not going to lose a couple of games here, and so the opportunity to conference championship was last week. It's come and gone, and you still have to finish the season. And, from a coaching standpoint, how did you address that with players when you'd get in those situations at the end of the year?
Well, I think the first thing I always did was correct the semantics of what you said. We have to finish the season, and I would say you get to finish the season.
There you go.
That this is still a privilege to be a college athlete. It's not, in football, something that you get to do once your days are done. We don't have pickup football games. We don't have, it's just, there is an old man football.
Right.
So you get about 40 chances at this as a college football player. I mean, it's only 40. And so you want to make sure that you address all those things. And then we talk about Viking pride, and I think that's part of what it is. And we would always say that pride stood for personal responsibility and defining excellence. And, this is your personal responsibility and what you're going to do as a human. I mean, it's a football game, but this is going to tell a lot about you in your life as well. And so, you need to make sure your focus is on what's important. You've had a family that supported you, whether they're at home watching on TV or they're here in person, any of those types of things. And so, the onus falls on you, and you work hard. I mean, you don't work in the weight room in all summer for 7 games. You work hard for 10 games, and so, and if you're a returning student athlete, you're putting yourself on film. Because there's next year.
Sure.
It's an opportunity. You are playing for next year as well.
I can remember, and this will take you back in time, but the year that Chad Leak was injured in Game 1, and we had to basically put things together throughout the course of the year. It's very much like this year with Avery Thorsgaard going down in game 1. And in the last game of the year with Dakota State, you thought you were going to have to make a choice at quarterback next year between a couple of guys, and you turned it over to Jason Belke in the fourth quarter of that football game, and he turned into having one heck of a career at Valley City State. But it's moments like this that create moments like that later.
Right. It's unfortunately, sometimes bad things happen, but out of those bad things, you have to find the silver linings, and good things in the future will happen. And you know, it's just how it goes.
We get ready today. They're announcing some of the players below with our starting lineups today in the final home game of the year. Starters getting an opportunity to come out one by one today. Speaking of starting lineups, we'll do that in a couple of moments. It's time for our RE/MAX Now keys of the game, brought to you by RE/MAX Now of Valley City and Jamestown. I think one of the big keys today, as you take a look at the numbers, Caden Frazier, the quarterback for Presentation College, has completed less than 50% of his passes this year. It seems like when he's under duress, they don't really have a lot of options. The biggest key, I think, would be get pressure on the quarterback today.
Absolutely, and we have the guys that are capable of doing that.
Pressure on the quarterback, a big key. We'll take a pause for our national anthem. Actually, you know what? We're already here, so let's go ahead and bring you the national anthem today as we continue with Viking football. Our national anthem this afternoon here at Locken Stadium as we continue with Viking football this afternoon. Valley City State here to take on Presentation College this afternoon. Ryan Cunningham, Corey Anderson with you here today for our game broadcast as our pregame report continues. Pregame report brought to you by Sanford Health. Valley City, here for all and here for good. We were going through our keys of the game, which are brought to you by RE/MAX Now of Valley City and Jamestown. Corey, let's take a look at those again. Again, getting pressure on the quarterback. We definitely have the players to do that. On the offensive side, a key to the game, you know Presentation College will put 8 guys in the box right away after what happened last week. You've got to find some success running the ball early, or you've got to find a big play to get them out of it. But you got to do one of those two things, right?
Yeah, definitely. And you know, the tricky part here is when you play teams twice in a year, you know, sometimes, and that game was closer probably than the 28-10 score indicated or whatever the final score ended up being. But they've made adjustments. Now what adjustments are you going to make to what they've done as well? And so I have a feeling that, you know, we're still going to do the things that we believe that we do well. And hopefully we've identified, you know, the weaknesses that they would have at each of the 3 levels defensively and try to exploit that.
Let's take a look at our starting lineups for today's matchup. They're brought to you by CHI Mercy Health, Valley City. Hello, human kindness. First of all, for Presentation College this afternoon, the center will be Nick Delgado. The guards will be Jonathan McPherson and Mason Carpentier. And the tackles are Will Rollins and Austin Schnurr. The wide receivers are Pharaoh Tapia, Kevin Wright, and Cameron Shepard. The tight end is Lorenz Plummer. The running back is DJ Costin and Caden Frazier, a freshman at quarterback. Defensively, the end is Ben Fossey. The nose is Chandler Janik. And the other end will be Sam Motzkus. The linebackers today will be Weston Holdren in the middle, Braxton Bates and Traden Davis-Reed on the outsides. And Presentation College is going to do something that's kind of a trend in college football. They're going to start in the nickel today with 5 defensive backs. Their corners will be Jermaine Brown and Billy Nelson. Their safeties are Anthony Larson, Isaiah Lawson, and Blaine Patton. For Valley City State this afternoon, the center's Joe Salas. The guards are Troy Dietz and Cade Queen. And the tackles are Sammy Trejo and Jacob Romero. The wide receivers are Jacob Gottenberg, Justin Cruz, and Ferris Amigankwe. The tight end is Trent Finney. The running back is Justice Bice. Noah Chambers will start at quarterback this afternoon once again. Defensively, four-man front. The linemen are Georgie and Georgia Magneo, Riley Gerhardt and Vance Dumas. The linebackers are Ashton Rakino, Dustin Kosowski, and Jahidi West. The corners, Anthony Russell and Colton Taylor. The safeties, Paco Baltazar and Martin Jones. The Vikings are in Cardinal. Up and down this afternoon, red, and more red. The Saints are in white with gold and green accents, gold pants, green helmets. The nickel, they're going to start in 5 defensive backs. We see it all the time at the big time. Tell me about it, Corey.
Well, I think it'll be interesting to see if that nickel back is actually a corner back type or is it a safety type. You know, I would guess against us, knowing what we want to do and establish the run, it's got to be a bigger type body than that. We'll see right away if that's what they elect to do, and I think it would be a poor decision on their part if that's what they do happen to do. The other nice thing, Ryan?
Yes.
Presentation, legible numbers.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, green on white, and it's forest green on white as well. I mean, it's a really, really great situation. And our thanks to Dakota State for altering those at some point in the future. The kick is away. Taylor Simmons from 2 yards deep in the end zone wants to bring it out for the Vikings from right to left. He runs hard to the middle, found a little bit of a gap, struggles forward, got to the 30. Pretty good return for Taylor Simmons out to the 30-yard line. And like you said, Corey, with the Vikings having the football, we'll see immediately how presentation's going to attack the running game this afternoon.
Yeah, and I think in a situation where we had mentioned earlier, second time you play somebody during the year, you know, we're going to probably line up in a few things just to see what we think they've adjusted to as far as when we played them last. But it does look like they're going nickel with your traditional 5 defensive backs.
So here we go. First down and 10 for the Vikings from their own 30-yard line. 4 receivers for the Vikings, twins each way. Chambers, a bluff throw, now wants to call his own number. He's been doing that well for the last few weeks. Runs off the left hash mark. And we'll take it out for about 5 yards to around the 35. Stop coming in from the linebacker core in Braxton Bates. And it's 2nd and 5. The Vikings get going, running Noah Chambers right away.
Yep. Kind of what we anticipated and what we saw from them early in games.
It's 2nd down and 5 for the Vikings. Back to 3 receivers. And Farasami Gonkwe is the wide man on the near side of the football field. Bice will be in the backfield throwing a lead block. Chambers again trying to tiptoe his way through a small gap on the right side. Then reversed his field a bit out of some, I guess you could say, contact, and still found his way for another yard out to around the 38. Really long running play for a little bit of result at that point. Jermaine Brown the stop. Big third down and 2 for the Vikings right away.
What we've seen the first 2 downs, we were out in 4 wide receivers, and they were really in their nickel package with 4 down linemen and 2 linebackers. That time we brought a tight end, 3 receivers. They went really traditional in a 4-3.
So here we go on 3rd down and 2 for Valley City State. A pair of receivers to the right, slot back left side, jumping across the line of scrimmage. Didn't see a whole lot that lured at that time. The guilty PC Saint will be Michael Hawkins, a junior defensive lineman out of California. And the Vikings are going to get a first down for free. It's a Dairy Queen first down for the Vikings. They'll take it out to the 43-yard line.
One of the things that probably concerns you when teams are out of the playoff race is how sharp they are. And there's a situation good for Noah Chambers, good for the offensive lineman to hold that cadence, but to be able to induce them to get the first down.
1st and 10 for the Vikings from their own 43. First possession of the game. Chambers the turn. Justice Bice on a counter. He runs a man over as he got to the 45. Is out to around the 48 for a gain of 5 yards. Good contact initiated by Justice Bice as well. Kept running. Jermaine Brown, another tackle. 2nd and 5 for the Vikings. I like that from Justice Bice. He had a defensive back coming up to try to get to him, and he just put a shoulder in and ran him over for a couple of extra yards. Vikings will take a look with Austin Young coming in. Austin Young's been one of the favored targets of Noah Chambers the last couple of weeks. He'll be in the slot. It's the 3-by-1 for the Vikings. 3 receivers left on 2nd down and 5. Chambers waiting for a shotgun snap. Bice to his right. Play action. Now they will give to Justice Bice, and not much there. He'll be brought down in the backfield. No gain, maybe a mild loss on the play as he tried to go left. That thing was blown up on the near side of the football field by Sam Motzkus, the defensive end. And so here comes 3rd down and 6 as Bice will lose a yard.
Interesting, and it looks like they're playing man-to-man in the secondary. Other than the nickel player, his face is into the backfield with his eyes, so it looks like he is trying to probably be a support player to turn plays in from the outside.
3rd down and 6. Noah Chambers, a shotgun snap. They rush just 3. Chambers rolls away against it, looks downfield, points to a spot, got a block and left the ball behind. It's picked up by the Saints, and the Vikings will turn it over at their own 42-yard line. Sam Motzkus got going. That was going to be a Noah Chambers first down run, but Chambers ended up having the ball swiped out of his hands from behind. It's a freshman mistake. Corey got a little loose with the football, the loaf of bread syndrome, right?
Yeah, and we had talked about that a little bit in the past with Noah, and especially when he's out on the outside and he's looking to either run or pass, and he had asked Taylor Simmons that time to pick up a block for him, and I think that's what he was concentrating on, is where he was going, and he just didn't have the awareness of seeing what was coming behind him.
So a tough play for the Vikings as they will turn it over on their opening possession, and now we will see a talented, skilled set coming onto the field from Presentation College with a freshman quarterback inside Viking territory as Caden Frazier will take a shotgun snap. He drops back, throws. The pass is caught far side for a first down. It's caught on the far sideline. I believe we've got a bunch of players that were not listed as starters that are going to get going today, and that man goes down. The catch was made, I believe, by Jonah Evans. And the new quarterback that's come into the game for PC is Tim Evett, who's a junior quarterback out of Concord, California. So Caden Frazier doesn't make the start today, but it's 1st and 10 for the Saints as they'll give to DJ Costin running left side. He's off left tackle to around the Viking 24 for a gain of about 4 yards. A huge hit, though, on the receiver a couple of moments ago, and they're still tending to him on the far side of the field.
Yeah, his legs went on, and he has to be in concussion protocol right now. That was a devastating blow.
2nd down and 7 for PC after a Viking fumble. The Saints have the football, the Viking 24. A drop back by Evett, throwing left side. Pass caught by Cameron Shepard. He has it for a minimal gain to the Viking 20. Be a pickup of around 4. So here comes 3rd down for Presentation College. They may be in 4-down territory because they're not in a playoff situation. So here we go. A big sequence coming up for the Viking defense. That gain will go for about 4 yards on the first catch today for Cameron Shepard. That's been the favorite target of Presentation College quarterbacks throughout. Evett waiting out of the shotgun, a pair of receivers to his right. The running back is DJ Costin on 3rd down and 2. They'll motion Kevin Wright behind the line of scrimmage across the formation. Shotgun snap for Evett. They'll give to Costin. Runs into a wall, and he's brought down right at the 20 for no gain by Jahidi West. That's a great play for a linebacker that's been coming on strong the last couple of weeks. Here's 4th and 2, and we'll see what the Saints decide to do. No gain on the play, and it looks like Presentation College is going to set up for a 37-yard field goal try. Jonah Evans is back in as the holder. The kicker is Luis Ferreira. This will be with the wind partially at his back from 37. Hard count, snap is down, the hold is down, the kick is on its way. Plenty of leg with this wind, and it's good. And so Presentation College will make the Vikings pay for that turnover with a 3-pointer. It's 3-0 Presentation College on our LaRue Lockout Financial scoreboard. But based on how the game started, Corey, you might take that 3rd down and 2 from the 20, and they force the 3-pointer.
Yeah, and as a defense, I know Coach Horner, they have something they call sudden change. Okay, there's a turnover. We need to go out on the field, and we need to be geared up and ready to go right away. You just don't like to have it happen in the first drive of the game. You would really like to start out more traditional and being able to, go from a kickoff or things like that. So the fact that we held him to 3 points there, and on a kick that 37 yards might have been good from 50 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, he had great leg on that one.
Yeah, and it's tough to judge the wind today because from that standpoint, it looked like it was at his back looking at the goalpost that he was kicking to. You look at the American flag over by where the throwers throw, and it's almost a straight out of the south wind. So I'm not sure if the valley out there funnels the air here, Corey, but there's a couple of weird little tendencies when the wind is blowing out of the south.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a southerly wind today, but that would mean it would be in our face right now, and we're not getting any of it in here with an open press box.
Well, part of it, though, is because we've reinforced both doors and the cross draft can't come in. It's very structurally sound up here, Corey. You know that,
good
right?
Job. Good job.
I took care of that before the game today. Ferreira will kick it away. The Vikings trailing 3-0 on our LaRue Lockout Financial scoreboard. Ferreira's kick on the way again. Taylor Simmons going to let this one go about 4 yards deep in the end zone. It will come out to the 25. and the Vikings will take over. First down and 10, trailing by a score of 3-0. That first drive wasn't going badly. Noah Chambers was running the football. He was going to pick up a first down on the run, just had the ball come out. But in the long run, some optimism early for the Vikings today.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the four wide receiver set is something that, early indications show that we're only going to have 6 people in the box from them defensively, and that should allow us to be able to execute our running game.
First and 10 for the Vikings. They'll have it at their own 25. 10:02 to play in the opening quarter. The Vikings give up a field goal after a turnover and trail 3-0. Chambers wants to throw on first down and 10. Loads up, throws near side for Taylor Simmons. Simmons was able to make the catch, but he will be out of bounds. He could not get that in his hands and control with a foot down. Good athletic play for Taylor Simmons. Corey, I was getting a look at the team today, and Simmons has only caught 13 passes this year, and maybe that's something the Vikings are looking to change.
Yeah, I mean, he's a dynamic kid with the ball in his hands, and I think that we can get that to him other than just by handing it off as well.
So second down and 10 after the incomplete pass for Noah Chambers and the Vikings. 3 receivers, twins to the right, counterplay again. Justice Bice has a wall of blocking out in front of him, but that's being spread out, and he'll go down for a loss of a yard. Really well played by Presentation College after the Vikings had success with that play in the early going today. Anthony Larson comes up and turns that away in the backfield, and it's 3rd and 11 for Valley City State.
I think when Justice looks at that in the on the film room on Sunday or Monday, whenever they look at that, I think he will feel like he probably could have cut left off his tight end's block that way rather than continuing outside.
3rd down and 11, 3 receivers for the Vikings, 9:20 to play in the opening quarter. Vikings trying to recover after turning the ball over on their opening drive. Trent Finney jumping sides the line. Chambers wants to throw. A flag is out. Chambers throws near side, and the pass is incomplete. Austin Young on a crossing route. Flag came out, maybe going to indicate encroachment against Presentation College. They didn't kill the play. Could have been some illegal shifting if Trent Finney took a step towards the line. The officials will get together.
I think early indication is probably a formation issue on our part.
Legal motion on the offense.
Yep.
Moving, not getting set before the snap. Penalties decline.
All right, so an illegal motion penalty against the Vikings. 2 men moving, not coming set before the snap. So the Vikings are forced to a 3 and out. They'll kick the football away, and that's a tough series for Valley City State. They were kind of clicking on their opening series, and they did have the throw to Taylor Simmons, but after that, not a lot of good execution. The Vikings will kick it, and they'll bring Masila Siwa in to do that. Presentation College sends their punt returner back at around the 42-yard line. Punt returner should be either Billy Nelson or Tegan Severe. And another flag coming out, and this time the Vikings are indicating that it's against Presentation. Presentation is indicating that it's against Valley City State. And we'll have to wait and find out who the guilty party in this situation is going to be. 4 officials will get together and talk it over. Everybody's blaming each other. This is kind of fun. They're going to call it against Presentation College. So it'll be a 5-yard penalty against Presentation College. Boy, that was entertaining to watch. I think that was Georgie Magnejo, if I'm not mistaken. No, George, he was sort of doing a motion to show Presentation what they did. He was, that's helpful, isn't it, Corey? Don't do this again, right? He's trying to make sure it doesn't happen again. That's sportsmanlike. 4th and 6, Siwa's punt is a line drive low against the wind. This will be picked up by Tegan Severe. Severe will be jersey tackled by Riley Kosowski, just shy of the Presentation College 40-yard line. Be 1st and 10 for the Saints at the 39, and Riley Gerhardt with a nice special teams play for Valley City State. But Presentation College gets the football back, leading 3-0 with 8:59 to play in the opening quarter. Well, we'll see where it goes from here. Boy, the Vikings could really use a bit of a lift in this situation. They trailed by 3, turned it over in their first possession of the game, and now we'll have to try to come out and get another stop on the Presentation College offense. They did spot the ball at the 40 after indicating the 39. Now they'll mark it back to the 39. Again, Tim Evett, junior quarterback out of Concord, California, getting the start today for Presentation College. Evett drops back. He's pressured, throws the ball far side of the field. This was picked up off the ground and will be ruled incomplete. It was intended for Cameron Shepard, but the big story on that play was Tequez Chapman, who just came racing across the offensive line and was right in the grill of Tim Evett.
Yeah, screenplay on that, so the offensive linemen really want to get one hand on their defensive lineman and then get out to block for the screen. Didn't get a hand on Chapman.
Not at all. He had a straight path to the quarterback. 2nd down and 10, and more flags fly. Valley City State indicating that PC was moving again. And once again, we will have a meeting of the minds. You know, we've had 3 of these now. And, you know, you're going to go ahead, you're going to coordinate and get it right. But most of the time they wear a headset. They can radio to each other what's going on with the penalty. But nonetheless, this one's going to move back. It's a false start penalty against Presentation College. The down marker's already moved back to the 34. So it'll go back to the 34, and 2nd and 15 coming up for Presentation. This one has been a little unorganized today so far, but that's all right. I'm sure we'll pick up as the pace goes on. 4 receivers on 2nd down and 15. Dropping back is Evett, throwing right side of the field. This one's picked off. Blake King will go up and take it away for the Vikings. It was the same play that PC ran on their first possession, and they threw in that seam between the corner and safety. This time Blake King almost baited Tim Evett to throw the football and then went up and snared it, and the Vikings will even the turnover game.
Yeah, you know, in credit to VCSU on that part, and normally when you're running that against a cover 2, you're going to put a receiver in the flat to occupy that corner so he can't drop underneath the route. And that time we were allowed to drop underneath the route, and they threw it right to us.
And Blake King goes up and gets it, and the Vikings will take over 1st and 10, their own 48, still trailing 3-0 on the LaRue Lockout Financial scoreboard. Noah Chambers out of the shotgun, 3 receivers strung to his left. Play action to Bice. He wants to throw. He'll throw near side duel, wide open. Ferris Amegankwe. He got a foot down to the 32 of Presentation. It'll be a 1st down, a Dairy Queen 1st down for the Vikings, as the Vikings will pick up 21 on the toss to Ferris Amegankwe.
Several of our throws now that we've thrown to our sideline, you can tell the wind has had an effect on that as it's carried the ball more out of bounds. We were lucky that time to stay in bounds.
Yeah, Ferris made a nice play to go up and get it. And maybe a little adjustment from Noah as well. He threw the first one to Taylor Simmons that carried him out of bounds. Maybe more of an adjustment needed here. They'll give to Bice, trying to cut back near side, gets low, pummels forward to around the 30 for a gain of a couple of yards. And a little bit of trash talking going on at the end of that play as a stop is made by Braxton Bates. But then a couple of Saints come in and help out the Vikings, including one of them rearranging a shoulder pad for one of the offensive linemen, Troy Dietz. Very friendly game so far today, Corey. I don't expect it to remain that way, do you?
No, I do not.
No, I don't either. 2nd down and 8 coming up for the Vikings from the Presentation College 30. We're nearing the halfway point of the opening quarter of football. 3 receivers to the right for the Vikings. Bice is to the left of Noah Chambers, is onto the shotgun. Chambers wants to run, carrying this outside, scampers forward, dives out of bounds to around the 26 or so. They'll put him down to the 25. It'll be a gain of 5 yards for Noah Chambers. Here comes 3rd down and 3. You know, Noah Chambers wants to take a hit. There might have been a path open to the right on that play, but we're okay with him going to the sideline, getting out of bounds.
Yeah, again, Justice Bice, I think, had done a nice job blocking on that one. And Noah, I think, again, when he sees it on film, he'll believe he should probably have cut inside that instead of going to the perimeter.
So here comes 3rd down and 3. Checking into the game for the Vikings is Dominic Sotomayor. He'll be out with Ferris Amegankwe on the right side of the field. Jacob Gottenberg is wide left. And Noah Chambers with Taylor Simmons in the backfield now. He'll empty the backfield. Simmons on a screen pass, looking for a hole. Found it. Starts upfield across the 20. The Vikings are in the red zone with the Dairy Queen 1st down, as Simmons will take it to the 19 for a gain of 6 yards. He's finally run down by Treaton Davis-Reed. That's what you were talking about, Corey, an extension of the run game with that screen pass.
Absolutely. That's a bubble screen that I really like to see us do, especially when you have a back a lot like Simmons. And that'll lend itself later that you can fake that, and your blockers on the outside, one can release after showing block and go deep.
3 receivers for the Vikings. Twins to the near side of the field. 1st and 10 from the 18. Chambers, he found a cutback lane, then tries to sidestep to his left. Gets spun down as he got to around the 14-yard line for a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 4 coming up. Stop is made up front by Weston Holdren for the Saints. You know, here's the thing. I like the way Noah Chambers runs the football. He's not afraid to get in there and mix it up, Corey.
It reminds me a lot of Mark Fabian back in the days, and kind of built the same way. And if you notice that time, he ran with the football secured high and tight.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure there was plenty of instruction on the sideline after that first possession about how to do that part. 2nd down and 6 from the Presentation College 14 for the Vikings. Chambers again calling his own number. Quarterback sweep near side, trying to kind of jet it out to the flat. Couldn't get away. He's down right around the line of scrimmage for no gain of the play. Sam Motzkus, a defensive end, who's had a really good season for PC. 67 tackles, 16.5 tackles for loss. Very athletic guy in the edge. Maybe a yard that time for Chambers. It'll be 3rd and 5.
It's one of those plays that if you see that up the press box, you remember to yourself, let's go back to that play because that was a good play defensively. If he does not make that play, Noah may score on that.
So here's 3rd down and 5 for the Vikings from the 14. They trail 3-0, 5:40 to go in the opening quarter in the season finale here at Locken Stadium. We play at versus Mayville State next week at the Fargo Dome. Chambers stepping up. This time it's open. He's going to run with it. Gets inside the 10, drives himself down to the 7. Pocket collapsed, but everybody came forward. No contain. Chambers read it, took off, and picks up 7 yards, and the Vikings have a 1st and goal. You can tell that Noah Chambers has learned a lot about the football game throughout the course of the year. That's one that he recognized right away and ran right to the spot.
And we talk about why do you play the games, you know you're out of it. There's a perfect example. He's getting better. He's putting tape on, the coach's minds for next year.
1st down and goal for the Vikings from the Presentation College 7-yard line. Pair of receivers to the right. Chambers starts upfield, now takes off and goes upfield behind a couple of lead blocks, gets low to the end zone, and they're going to say he's down just inside the 1-yard line. Wanted to throw, then decided to take off and had a couple of really nice blocks, I think from Trent Finney out on the outside, and he's nudging on the goal line.
I think that was one where they were showing that they were going to run quarterback draw, and then he was going to stand back and he was going to try to do the play action, and they covered it well. He elects to run anyway.
So here's 2nd down and goal for the Vikings from about the half-yard line. The Vikings trying to take their first lead and get their first points of the day. We've got 3 tight ends in the game. Call it 2 tight ends and a slot back. Chambers, play action, giving it away now. A drive to the goal line for Justice Bice, and Bice is into the end zone for a Viking touchdown. He was hit and nearly brought down. Pretty good play by Trayton Davis-Reed for the Saints, but Bice reading the goal line, reaching out with it, breaks the plane, and the Vikings have a 6-0 lead.
Run play there, or our offensive linemen were just going to block to their gap to the right, and Shaden Luna, who was in the slot to the right, pulled across to kick out, and Bice followed him into the end zone.
Touchdown comes at 4:23 of the opening quarter, and Rodrigo Castaneda will come on for the extra point opportunity, and half of the Presentation College student body got going early on the left side of the kick block team, and I'm not sure, there were 4 of them that reacted. It's going to be offsides against Presentation College. Normally you see 4 of them jump like that. You'd think, man, something had to happen up on the offensive line, but that time 4 of them just got going early. Maybe follow the leader.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure because normally it's a silent count on extra points. You just call your set call and the snapper will snap it on his own. So it reeks a little bit of kind of teeing off on our guys there.
So here comes another extra point opportunity from about the 1.5-yard line, and Rodrigo Castaneda will send it right through the middle of the uprights. The Vikings recover from the turnover and will take their first lead of the day after turning Presentation College over for the first time. 4:23 left of the LaRue Lockout Financial scoreboard. It's the Vikings 7, the Saints 3. We have a timeout for Mobility Plus Rehabilitation. This is Viking football on the Voice of the Vikings and the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
This is Viking football on KOVC, the Voice of the Valley.
Brothers 3 has the area's widest variety of classic and new ice fishing tackle at the lowest prices to give you the edge this year. Before heading out on the ice, stop in and get your live bait and tackle and fill your tank with the highest quality gas and diesel. Brothers 3 is your locally owned and operated convenience store. As always, Brothers 3 has the lowest prices in town on everything, from snacks and drinks to winter gear and propane and automotive supplies. Remember, it pays to shop at Brothers 3.
Now back to Viking football on the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
Ryan Cunningham, Corey Anderson with you today from Lockheed Stadium and Shelley Elliott Field. Masilla Siwa will kick the football away. Up in the air, end over end, not very deep, but a pretty good effort today against this win. Billy Nelson on the kick return for the Saints, running middle. Got to the 20 and stepped out of a tackle to 25, then got crumpled fore and aft, and he's made his way out to the 28-yard line. And the Saints will take over 1st and 10, their own 28. Now trailing 7-3 to the Vikings on the LaRue Lockout Financial scoreboard.
And today, so far, the story of the game has been points off of turnovers.
Certainly
turnovers led to all points in this game.
Both of them were, actually one was an interception, one was a fumble recovery. The one for Presentation College in their favor, they started in enemy territory, and today the Vikings did have to drive from inside their own 40 in order to get downfield. Caden Frazier is back in at quarterback, throws, and this one's nearly picked off. He looked to the near side for Lawrence Plummer, his tight end. There were 3 men there in coverage and all kinds of hands on it for Colton Taylor. He just couldn't quite reel it in. So the Saints make a change at quarterback, and Corey, I'm a little baffled. I didn't think that their starting quarterback, Tim Evatt, had done a bad job today, but they're going to sort of, I guess, throw change-ups and curveballs throughout the course of the day.
Yeah, and they could be auditioning as well for next year.
Sure. Caden Frazier, who was listed as the starter, will come in and take over the drive, and a snap goes over his head. It falls on the ground. He has to go back and get it on a knee and goes down back at the 15-yard line. That'll be a loss of 13 yards for Presentation College. And so here comes 3rd down and forever. They'll be at the 15. They need to get to the 38, so 3rd down and 23 coming up for Presentation College.
Easiest quarterback sack Heidi West will ever get.
It does go into the book as that, does it not? 4 receivers, 3 left for the Saints on 3rd down and 23 from their own 15. Frazier waiting for a shotgun snap. He's got it, play action. He's in all kinds of trouble, throws the football away. He had a tight end on the near side, Kevin Wright, who was available, but you see Caden Frazier taking a big hit on the end of the play. He's slow to get up and is hard to get off the field from 2 yards deep in the end zone, and the line of scrimmage was the 15, and that was not a good series of plays for Presentation College. Credit the Viking defense.
No, they did not slow us down at all on the defensive line, and he was getting pressure up the middle from Georgia Maggio all that time, and then here it comes from the back with Riley Gerhardt, and that's the one I think he felt.
And he felt a lot of it as we watched him walk off. Luis Ferreira is the punter for Presentation College. Ground ball snap. He steps away from pressure, gets this one away, and it's a beauty with the wind. Taylor Simmons will watch it hop over his head and roll out of bounds inside the 40, but even with the wind, that's pretty good field position for Valley City State today as they'll take over at their own 37, leading 7-3 on the LaRue Lockout Financial scoreboard with 3:56 left to go in the opening quarter. So, Corey, you see some adjustments that happen after the first possession, and it really seems like the last 2 possessions, the Viking defense has had Presentation College pretty well figured out.
Yeah, they have. And again, I think that sudden change just to start the game, we weren't ready, maybe a little bit on our heels, and they complete that first pass in the void and led to their points.
So now the Vikings get the football back, looking to increase on a 7-3 lead. They're at 3 receivers. Twins will go to the right. Shotgun snap taken by Noah Chambers. Chambers stepping up in the pocket, throwing behind Taylor Simmons. Incomplete, nearly picked off. Simmons was hit as he got the football thrown to him in that sequence. And then I believe it was Braxton Bates, no correction, Traden Davis Reed that was there that got his hands on the ball after Anthony Larson hit Taylor Simmons. So 2nd down and 10. The Vikings at their own 37 ran the ball particularly well in their last possession. Couple of throws to the near side of the field today for Noah Chambers have been good ones. And it's worth mentioning on that scoring drive, it got started with a 21-yard throw to Farasami Gonkwe. This time Simmons right up the middle of the field. Big gainer. 1st down for the Vikings. A Dairy Queen 1st down to their own 48-yard line. Simmons straight ahead for 10 yards. Really solid, simple running play.
Yeah, I've been thinking as we've been looking at what they've been running thus far with the run game, it's been a lot of action where we're pulling or it's taken a little bit longer, maybe some counter action. And first time that we've really seen us just run downhill and impose our will, so to speak.
And they did. They did well. 10 yards on the drive or on the run. Simmons again, straight draw to the near side, sort of stretching the field on 2nd down. He'll stretch his way across, 1st down rather, stretches his way across midfield, gets to the 47 for a gain of around 5 yards. Just sort of not really a stretch play, but it looks like it with the motion to the near side, but Simmons straight ahead for 5 yards.
Yeah, and we pulled both guard and tackle on the backside that time in a counter type action, and And again, just a little bit more delayed with our decision on what hole that we wanted to go to.
We'll see Austin Young step in. He'll take the spot of Justin Cruz in the near side of the field as a wide receiver. Austin Young has had touchdown catches the last couple of weeks and has looked very good for the Vikings. 3 receivers, twins to the right on 2nd and 5. Chambers dropping back, pressured, throws right side. Amegankwe trying to make a cut to make a man miss, then stumbles forward, nearly picked up a first down. That's a hard bit of running for 3 yards by a wide receiver. He was caught for no gain or a loss, but did well to pick up 3, and it's 3rd and 2.
Absolutely, and I think he's one of the receivers on this team that's able to run that particular type of screen. He has that ability that once he catches it, he can make the first defender miss. And that's so critical whenever you're running any of those wide receiver screens, is that if they can do that, generally good things are going to happen. 3rd down and 2 for the Vikings. A pair of receivers near edge. Chambers out of the pistol, shotgun snap, straight ahead. Bice getting low, looks to have the first down as he crosses the 42. Maybe got to the 41. They will say, yeah, that's enough for a first down. Pickup of 3 for Justice Bice. Move the sticks for the Vikings, and it's 1st and 10, Valley City State. Just 9 yards on the day for Justice Bice. Noah Chambers is leading the running effort with 30. When he was calling his own number, he's been pretty good so far today running the football. 1st and 10 Vikings from the 41 of Presentation College. 1:45 left to go in the opening quarter. The Vikings leading 7-3 on the LaRue Lockout Financial scoreboard. 3 receivers, twins to the left, Chambers the snap, up the middle to Bice. He's hit right at the 40, tries to stretch out of it, but the 40, maybe the 39 on forward progress of the football is the best that he will do. And Trayden Davis-Reed makes another tackle. That shouldn't be a surprise, Corey. 100 tackles this year for Trayden Davis-Reed. He's one of the good ones for Presentation College. Absolutely. That's one of those people that you need to know where he is all the time and probably avoid being where he is.
That's a good way to put it. Avoid being where he is. That's a great plan. 3 receivers, twins to the left on 2nd down and 8. I didn't know it was possible, but I guess you can do that. Chambers delayed draw, going to take off right side. Got a great plan, our pancake block to break out to the right and gets down to the 34. Joe Salas, the center, came back and just absolutely buried Ben Fossey to spring that, and it'll be 3rd down and 3 coming up for the Vikings.
I think one of the things that we need to improve going into next year, Presentation is playing us man on the single receiver side. And any time in years past when we've had that situation, we're just like, okay, we're going to take advantage of that. Because it's a tough task to do, and I'm not sure that we have the confidence yet to do that.
3rd down and 3. Chambers takes the snap. Simmons starting right now, goes up the middle, broke a tackle, squirts ahead of the 30. He's down to the 27 for another Dairy Queen first down. A pickup of 8 yards for Taylor Simmons. It'll be 1st and 10. Going back to that, Corey, is this the point of the year now where Noah Chambers can recognize that and change to it, or are you still trying to manage that part of the game a little bit?
Yeah, it kind of determines, how philosophy, what their philosophy is. Are they giving him the keys to the car, so to speak,
Sure.
or are they just telling him where to drive with the play every time? And so, as he gains more experience or more understanding or asks more questions, that might be something you allow him to do. Or as we see it up in the booth, when they say, hey, they're just going man on the outside. If we have something we think we can take advantage of, let's do that.
That'll be the end of the opening quarter here today at Lock-In Stadium. Both teams turn it over. Both teams score out of it. The Vikings got the touchdown, and they lead 7-3 on the LaRue Lockout Financial scoreboard after 1. We'll come back after a Mobility Plus rehabilitation timeout to start the second quarter. This is Viking football on the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
This is Viking football on KOVC, the Voice of the Valley.
The Smith Lumber Home Center holiday preview is today. Come see the Christmas shop in the all-new greenhouse. And they have a holiday stencil mini project you can take home. Smith Lumber Home Center has gifts galore, and there's more coming every day. Enjoy hot cider and cookies while you stroll through the aisles and put your gift list together for infants to grandma and grandpa. See why they're the complete home and gift center. The holiday preview going on today at Smith Lumber Home Center, East Main, Valley City.
Now back to Viking football on the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
Ryan Cunningham, Corey Anderson with you today from Lock-In Stadium. The Vikings leading 7-3 over Presentation College after a quarter of play, and we go to the second quarter with the Vikings on the move. 1st and 10 at Presentation College's 28-yard line. Shotgun snap to Noah Chambers. He's blitzed, steps back, throws against it. Right side, pass caught. This will be caught by Will Fall, the backup tight end, who moves his way down to the 15-yard line. The Vikings will pick up 13 yards and a first down inside the red zone. Nice throw by Noah Chambers with some pressure coming at him.
Great throw by him to stand in there, and he did take a blow at the end of that, but nice job just hitting the tight end on a nice, 10-yard out route, and they are playing man-to-man in the secondary, so opportunities for us, I think, to take advantage of that and maybe go to some bunch formations where we can do a little bit of the legal picks.
Legal, I like that as well. 3 receivers, twins to the right on first down and 10 from the 15. Noah Chambers starting right, looking to read a hole in the middle. He'll move his way down to around the 12 for a gain of about 3. Second down and 7 coming up for the Vikings. I don't believe that there are any legal picks, Corey, are there? I mean...
Yeah, we called them rubs back in the day. Rubs. Rubs are legal, picks are illegal.
Okay.
So... or you just are uncoordinated and you run into the opponent.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you can just not really know where you're going and just happen to be there, right?
Yep.
My old boss used to use the phrase distinction without a difference, and I think we might be pretty close to something along those lines. Second down and 7, 3 receivers to the right. Chambers waiting for a shotgun snap with Justice Bice to his right. Play action. Chambers bluffs the throw, now wants to run. Broke outside, then jumps down to the middle, and maybe to the 10, maybe to the 9 for a gain of about 3. Some jukes and jives for Noah Chambers trying to get away. In the end, he's tied up and brought down by Presentation College's Blaine Patton. And so here's 3rd and 4 for the Vikings.
And we've talked about it before when we run those type of predetermined quarterback runs, to just execute as much patience as you can to allow the blocks to develop.
Here's 3rd down and 4 for Valley City State from the 9 of Presentation College. The first possession of the second quarter. It continues from the first. And the Vikings looking to expand a 7-3 lead. Chambers dropping back, throwing out of the flat. Will Fall has it, puts a move on, head down, bullies his way, if you will, down to the 5-yard line. And we'll see. He's out of bounds. They have not yet indicated first down. They're going to say 4th down. They'll say Will Fall was short of the need by about a yard. The Vikings are leaving their offense on the field right now. We'll see. 2 catches, 17 yards for Will Fall. Both of those catches on this drive. 4th down and 1 from just outside the 5. The Vikings leave their offense on the field, opting at least for the moment not to go for the 3. Now we'll see a whistle, and a timeout has been taken by Valley City State as they will address their options. So a timeout by the Vikings with 12:34 to play until halftime.
Hey college students, are you looking for a part-time job that works around your schedule, pays well, and gives you free money for college every year? McDonald's offers all of it. We can work around your schedule, and we give $2,500 scholarships to everyone who works for 3 months and averages 15 hours per week. That's 2 full shifts a week or 3 shifts of 5 hours. It's that easy. We've already given out more than $75,000 to students in North Dakota this year. Let us help you become the next scholarship recipient. Come join our team. Text ND29 to 38000 to apply today.
Orange juice, $2.20, $85 gift cards, or an 85-second shopping spree. And Stuff a Truck is back for the local food pantry. Lieber's Foods, Valley City.
Now back to Viking football on the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
With Corey Anderson, Ryan Cunningham with you today. The Vikings looking at 4th down and 1 from the Presentation College 6-yard line. Looking to continue a drive. They lead at 7-3. Noah Chambers, quarterback, sneaking his way towards the 4. And from the spot, it looks like he'll have a first down. They will say 1st and goal. Noah Chambers picks up a couple of yards. It's a Dairy Queen first down, and the drive for the Vikings will continue.
So I just want to tell everybody that we understand now when it's 4th down and less than 1 on the field and there's no timeout, Coach Mack is the offensive coordinator at that point in time.
Okay.
He's in charge of what we're going to do, whether we're going to try to draw them off sides, whether we're going to run a quarterback. He's the one that's in charge. That's something that's practiced weekly.
Interesting. So that's his call at this point, what we're going to run. And he opts to go for it. So 1st and goal from the 4 for the Vikings. High snap to Chambers. He'll give to Justice Bice, looking to make a cutback, and he will go down shy of the line of scrimmage for a loss of a yard on the play. Stop is made by Ben Fossey, the defensive end, and a loss of a yard for Justice Bice will bring up 2nd and goal for the Vikings from the 5-yard line. That play just didn't seem to have a lot of coordination. That high snap really affects the speed of the play.
Yeah, I think we were trying to, show some deception with Ferris there, possibly running the zoom play and returning and him being an opportunity to carry the ball or show that, and it just didn't have what it needed to have.
2nd down and goal from the 5 for the Vikings, leading 7-3, clock to 11:20 to play until halftime. Waiting for the snap is Chambers. Play action on the jet sweep. Chambers to throw to Amegankwe. He can't shake a tackle, but then did. But he went down on a knee back here at the 8-yard line before he shook the tackle and got down to the 2. So in the long run, credit to Isaiah Lawson, one of the safeties, for a stop on Ferris Amegankwe, and it will be a loss of 3 yards back to the 8 where it's 3rd and goal.
I like how we're developing what I think are future playmakers. Taylor Simmons catching the ball a little bit, as you had alluded to. And in this situation, again, when we've talked about Ferris, we just think that he's that kid that can make a guy miss defensively, which he showed there. They just happened to call him and his knee was down.
Yeah, very nearly made that man miss and took it into the end zone for a touchdown. And Ferris Amegankwe, sophomore wide receiver from Maple Grove, Minnesota. Bright future for the next 2 years for the Vikings. Ground ball snap to Chambers, picks it up on a hop, then throws to Jacob Gottenberg, and this ball is incomplete. Gottenberg had it in his grasp, but it looked like it came down. The umpire, a good look at it right in the middle of the field, says that hit the turf, and so the Vikings will now run out the 3-point unit to try to make it a 7-point game.
Yeah, I think Billy Nelson, the cornerback on that particular play, probably got in late and just chopped down on the arm of Jake Gottenberg that time and caused him to drop that ball.
So we'll see Rodrigo Castaneda from 29 yards out of the hold of Eric Peterson, who engineered a touchdown drive down in Forest City against Waldorf a couple of weeks ago as the 3rd-string quarterback. The snap is a good one. The hold is down, and the kick may have been blocked on the way through. Castaneda had that one take a funny hop on him as it went across the offensive line, and it looks like somebody got a hand on it. So the Vikings are denied their 3 points. The score remains 7-3 with 10:19 left until halftime. Tough break for the Vikings.
It is a tough break, and one of the things, too, that we've talked about so far, just with the fact that what do you do when you're out of the playoffs and you're looking towards next year and finishing up? We're also going to put on film fakes. I think at some point in time today, you're going to have a fake field goal. You're going to have a fake punt, just because teams will, when they play you next year, they're going to have to prepare for that as well.
Keep it in the back of their minds, but in the long run, the Vikings end up turned away. And so we'll see the ball coming out to the 20, and Presentation College will have Caden Frazier taking a shotgun snap. He gives it away to DJ Costin in the backfield. Costin rumbles his way to the 22, then tries to fight for additional yardage and maybe nudge the 24 with a football before he's finally wrestled down by Vance Dumas up the middle. And it'll be a gain of around 4, and now the Saints look like they want to hurry things up. So a gain for DJ Costin, his 2nd run of the day. 2nd down and 6. Another high snap to Frazier. He drops back, looks right side, throws, and it's picked off by Jahidi West. And Jahidi West is on the run to the 10, to the 5, to the pylon. Waiting. He is out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Nearly had the pick 6. Jahidi West with another big play for the Vikings. He has had such a great middle and end of his season, and the Vikings have 1st and goal.
He is a linebacker that plays like a defensive back. I mean, he has just got great anticipation skills, and I was going to allude to the fact that just watching their quarterback, as he comes out of the play call and he starts looking around, he is really telegraphing where he's going with the play. And that time he continued to have his head to the right, even before the snap. And I think Jahidi just recognized that and got underneath the route, and man, that'll be interesting to see on film because I think he had the pylon, and I think everybody else thought that.
Jahidi is a junior, an opportunity to come back next year, and if he does, he's going to have a great season as a linebacker for Valley City State. 1st and goal from the 1 for the Vikings. This is Shaden Luna, and he won't be denied. Shaden Luna with a shoulder down, muscles his way into the end zone for a touchdown, and 2 flags come out on the end of the play as Joe Salas was on the ground and being hit over and over by Braxton Bates. One of the freshmen for Presentation College, Ferris Amegakwe, is being pulled out of that. This is something I didn't talk about in the pregame today with Dennis McCulloch, out of respect to PC, but I've seen him for a couple of years. They have a tendency to get chippy very early, and these are some manageable things the Vikings will have to be aware of today.
Yeah, and in that situation, I think Salas is just maintaining his block, and he's locking on, and he's doing what offensive linemen do, and I think the defensive player took exception to that, and I would hope I had my eyes on that call the whole way, or that particular two-man scramble, so to speak, and it definitely was, punches thrown by the PC player. We'll see what happens here. They're talking to Coach McCulloch, and whenever that happens, I'm not quite sure, but it looks like they're going to take the penalty on the kickoff, so it must be against PC.
After the play is touchdown. After the play was over, personal foul and necessary roughness, defense number 6. Penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. We'll attempt to try.
All right. So no additional enforcement of a penalty beyond the kickoff, but the Vikings will be kicking, I'm assuming, from the 45 when they kick the ball, and they'll be kicking with the wind, which means we might as well just give PC the ball at the 25-yard line and get started now.
I think we onside.
Oh, you know what? That's an option as well. And like you mentioned, put something on film. Why not take a shot? Rodrigo Castaneda first for the extra point. After missing the field goal a moment ago, Castaneda's extra point kick is nothing but net, and the Vikings will take a 14-3 lead. Jahidi West with the interception. 2 turnovers by the Saints today. Both lead to touchdowns for the Vikings. We'll take a timeout for Mobility Plus rehabilitation. The Vikings lead by 11 on the LaRue Lockout Financial scoreboard. This is Viking football on the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
This is Viking football on KOVC, the voice of the Valley.
This is Hannah Wieland, a freshman at Valley City State University. The V500 scholarship members' generosity and commitment is exactly the kind of community involvement we need to keep VCSU going strong. The many scholarships provided are a testament to the support of the alumni, family, and friends of VCSU. Please keep expanding the opportunities available to enhance the lives of the next generation and make a difference for attracting future Vikings by supporting scholarships online at give.vcsu.edu or by calling the VCSU Foundation.
Now back to Viking football on the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
Vikings now leading 14-3. They'll kick from the 50 after the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the touchdown. Masila Siwa is going to kick it. Now he's going to kick it straight away. It's a line drive that nearly got over the crossbar. So we thought perhaps, and now more flags come out as another Viking is on the ground and being hit, and that's going to be another penalty against Braxton Bates, who drew the last penalty, but he was on top of Jaden Geringer, a sophomore defensive back out of Hagerstown, Maryland, that was going downfield on the kick coverage. And I think, that's the second one on Braxton Bates, and I think it's time for him to go home in this situation, and we'll see what happens as Brian Yanish, who is our referee today, will announce the penalty. Let's listen in.
Holding on the return team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick to the 25-yard line. First down.
Well, they're not going to call a penalty on Bates for that extracurricular. They're going to call a holding penalty against Presentation College. That's what the flags came out for. So they had brought the ball out to, I think, the 25. They're going to bring it back to the 15.
15-yard line.
But I don't know, Corey. The ball went deep into the end zone. There was no return. The flags came out extremely late with that action between Bates and Geringer. I'm a little surprised this is a holding penalty, aren't you?
I am too.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. But nonetheless, another quarterback back in the game. This is Tim Evatt, I believe. He's back in the game for Presentation. He'll throw to the far side for Kevin Wright, who tries to make the hook up the middle of the field. He busts off a tackle at around the 20 and is out to the 23 for a gain of 8 yards. Second down and 2 coming up for the Saints. And Tim Evatt back at quarterback. They want to try to hurry things up. So the Vikings now lead 14-3 on the LaRue Lockout Financial scoreboard. Second down and 2 for the Saints. Quick throw right side for Wright again behind a couple of blockers. Head down, brewing forward, breaking tackles, and he stretches all the way out to the 35-yard line. So a pickup of 13 for Everett, or actually rather Kevin Wright, a couple of back-to-back catches, and the Saints have a first down.
Well, if they're auditioning quarterbacks, we certainly have more energy when Everett's in the game and doesn't hold the football as long, and things just develop much faster. 4
receivers for Everett on first down and 10. Loads up, goes right side, tries to throw with some touch, and ends up throwing it incomplete in the direction of a number 14 that is on our minds, but is not on our roster this afternoon. So it'll be second down and 10. And we'll have to watch that carefully. We'll just refer to him as number 14, I guess, throughout the course of the day.
Or make up a 14.
We can do that.
Brad Johnson.
They're very good. I like it. Second down and 10 from the 35. This is a broken play, and Everett slides in the backfield and will go down. Credit the quarterback sack to Ashton Ricchino. Everett had a high snap, tried to get going to the right. Everything was just broken about that play the entire time, and Everett will go down for a loss of 7. It'll be third down and 17.
Not a lot on the play sheet here if you're PC. Valley City, I'm assuming we're going to play this fairly soft and just look to give up a few yards and not have anything over the top.
So here's third down and 7, 3 receivers, now 4. They'll motion a tight end behind the formation towards the near side of the field, creating trips. Everett dropping back, throwing under pressure, throws it out towards the right side, and knocked out of bounds on the far side is Abdullahi Yusuf, who makes the catch out in the flat, ends up spinning ahead of the 35, but will be out of bounds at around the 34. So a gain of 6 for Abdullahi Yusuf, and the Saints likely going to have to punt the football.
And they got behind the chains there with the bad snap and the loss, on second down that puts them in an unenviable position, and I think we played that right. They got adding yards to the punt here from their side, and we just kept everything in front of us.
Luis Ferreira's on to kick the football again for the Saints. Taylor Simmons back inside his own 30 for the Vikings at the halfway point of the second quarter. The Vikings leading 14-3. Kick nearly blocked. It's away. Good line drive kick. Taylor Simmons will give it plenty of room and then just steps away as that ball goes bounding on an irregular hop at the 30 and will be touched up downfield at the 28-yard line by Elijah Steele, a freshman linebacker out of Custer, South Dakota. First and 10 for the Vikings from the 29. 7:18 to go until halftime. The Vikings leading 14-3. And, here's the chance, Corey. Go down the field, ram one in the house, lead 21-3, and really put presentation in a bad spot going into the locker room.
Yeah, I think you really impose your will right now and just, defeat them and then not allow them to get back into the game.
So here comes first and 10 for Valley City State. 3 receivers. Twins go to the left for the Vikings. Noah Chambers waiting out of the pistol. I believe it's Simmons that's in the backfield with him. No, correction, this is Justice Bice, and Bice will get the carry. Nudges his way to around the 30 for a gain of about a yard before he's brought down there. Pretty good pursuit by the Saints on that play. Trayden Davis-Reed was there. Blaine Patton coming up from the defensive secondary was there. Second down and 9 coming up for the Vikings. They're actually going to spot the ball to the 31, so give Bice 2 on that play. The Saints have done a nice job against Justice Bice today. 10 yards rushing for Justice Bice, so they have been prepared for him to get the football today. They have moved to a 4-man front, though. It's worth mentioning that. They're out of their 3 technique. They're now with 4 linemen on second down and 8. Simmons, or actually, correction, Chambers dropping back. Chambers going to lurch forward as he read a play, just drives into the 35, got to the 37. Design quarterback draw, perhaps gain of 6, maybe a read by Chambers. It's third down and 2.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a quarterback draw. It looked like Bice was going to be leading him up on the linebacker, and his instructions are to follow me in that situation.
So here's third down and 2 for Valley City State with 6:10 to play in the first half. The Vikings leading by a score of 14-3, and now a flag is out. And are there too many men that are in the huddle? The Vikings tried to get one off the field, but that player coming off the field was Jacob Gottenberg. He may have been in the huddle. I'm counting helmets out there right now. I see 11 guys for the Vikings now. Let's see.
Substitution, 12 men in the huddle.
Yep.
On the offense. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
So the Vikings are going to lose 5 yards on that play, as there were 12 men in the huddle when Gottenberg was coming off the field.
Third and 7.
And now you know why college teams don't huddle.
Sure.
Really hard to call that in that situation.
Yeah, if you don't huddle, right?
Right.
4 receivers. Ferris Amigangwe returns to the game for the Vikings on the sub, and it's 3rd down and 7 for Valley City State. Shotgun snap coming up for Chambers. He's got it, faces the rush, steps up, throws wide open over the middle. This pass is caught by Dominic Sotomayor. He's ahead of the Saints 40. He'll be down to the 37-yard line, and the Vikings have a Dairy Queen first down on a big hitter for Dominic Sotomayor.
He's a young man that I've been impressed with all year. I know a few games ago he made, I remember saying, 2 hand catches. It's not very often you see receivers nowadays make on shorter throws hand catches, meaning they don't let the ball get into their body, and I just think he's got a bright future.
Absolutely. That was a great route for him. He was running wide open. He's just a freshman out of Meridian, Idaho. 1st and 10 for the Vikings from the 38. Play action. Chambers wants to throw. Looking for Sotomayor again. He's got him on the run, and he's into the end zone for a Viking touchdown. Dominic Sotomayor was running free against 2 defensive backs, and Noah Chambers tracked him in immediately, but there's cloth on the field in front of the Vikings sideline, and the moment may be fun for the fans, but not for the scoreboard. Let's talk it over and see what has happened with the flag. Oh, that's too bad. That was a great play for Dominic Sotomayor. They're going to call the Vikings with Troy Dietz apparently getting too far downfield on a deep throw, which you don't see it often. I guess you can because it takes a little bit of time to run the route, but it didn't look like there was a great deal of time for a man to get downfield from a lineman spot that deep.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, but it's on tape. And again, the points don't count, but we saw something out of that young man that we just had alluded to previous to that play.
And so the Vikings with 3 receivers on 1st and 15, back at the Saints 42. Chambers a snap again, throwing out of the backfield, a screen pass for Simmons. That's incomplete. It was fluttered as it got to the line. Weston Holdren, the middle linebacker, is able to knock that one down, get a little deflection on it before it gets out to Simmons. So 2nd and 15 coming up for the Vikings.
And Sammy Trejo that time, he's got that rusher coming upfield, and it's a tall task for him anyway if they're trying to get around the edge, and normally he would try to keep his hands down so he can't get him up into the passing lane, and that time it just failed to happen for him.
2nd down and 15. Chambers out of the shotgun. 4 receivers now, 3 to his left. Play action to Justice Bice again. Chambers, good time, rolling right side, throws to Bice out of the backfield, kind of the relief man here. Bice broke a tackle, then slides forward, gets down to around the 38-yard line. Tough running for Bice for a pickup of about 4. Host of men there on the end of the play for Presentation College. Michael Hawkins comes in with part of the stop. Weston Holdren with part as well. It'll be 3rd down 11 for the Vikings after a gain of 4 to Justice Bice.
Yeah, it's dial something up here that gets us 5 or 6 yards. We can run on this play. It's 4 down territory. We're not going to gain anything by punting from this point in the field. Let's use 2 plays to get these 9-10 yards.
The Vikings are going to go with an empty backfield. 5 receivers, trips and twins. Trips left for Noah Chambers on 3rd down and 11 for the Vikings from the Saints 38-yard line. Chambers taking the snap. Again, good time. Looking downfield, steps up. Now throws near side for Amigangwe and couldn't find him. The pass will end up incomplete. I'm not sure if Chambers felt like Amigangwe was going to do something different on the route or if he just got a little jittery because of the pressure.
Yeah, definitely, I think just miscommunication on that side, and I think you're right, he did get jittery. But if we can take something shorter there and let us live to this down in a more manageable down and distance.
Justice Bice is going to take the snap. There will be 4 receivers. Now Bice can kick the ball if he wants to. Noah Chambers is lined up as a slot receiver on the left side of the field. Now Chambers is going to get in under center on 4th down 11. May go hard count, then take the timeout if you're the Vikings. Couple of hard counts there. Play clock runs out. If not timeout, maybe the penalty, and they're going to call delay of game, and the Vikings will be happy to take the extra 5 yards to punt with if that's the game plan.
Yeah, and that was offensive coordinator McCulloch on that one again. We spend a lot of time, or used to spend a lot of time on those things to make sure the other team is disciplined. They've got to spend time during the week preparing for when it's 4th down, guys. You never know what Valley City's going to do, so they spend some time on that. Takes away from spending time on the things we really do all the time.
So here's 4th and 15. The Vikings will basically take the delay of game penalty on purpose. It gives them more room to work with this wind at the back of Masila Siwa. Good snap to Siwa. He'll kick it away. End over end, angled near side of the field, and lands in lane 3 of the track. I mean, that one really had an angle on it. They're going to step it off. And this is going to be marked at the 24, 25, 26-yard line. So not a great effort that time for the Vikings on the punt situation, but it'll be 1st and 10 for Presentation College, officially at their own 27-yard line. Now the 26. Yeah, that's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, that was had a lot of room to work with in that case, and just really pushed that out onto the track. And the wind may have taken off with it.
It did.
So,
It did.
So those things tough to measure at that point. Tim Evett back in as the quarterback for Presentation College. 4 receivers. Evett takes a shotgun snap, throws under pressure, finds Costin on the right side. Costin outside the numbers, head of the 30, out to around the 34. Be a gain of 8 yards for DJ Costin. At a 2nd down and 2 coming up for Presentation College. The Vikings leading 14-3 with less than 4 minutes to play in the second quarter. Throw this time to Wright on the right side. And Wright will be brought down, what looks like for a 1st down, a gain of 3 yards for Wright on his 3rd catch today, or actually 1st catch today.
And you got Tequez Chapman. He is channeling his inner Marshawn Jones. He is getting after it on the defensive line last 2 plays.
So here's 1st down and 10 for Presentation College from the 37-yard line. A drop back for Evett. Ball batted down. Georgie Magnejo looking to run it down as well, but it'll be ruled incomplete. Good pressure by the Vikings. And Corey, we talked about this in the pregame report. Presentation College quarterbacks have been under duress all day. This Vikings front 4 has really shown up to do its work today.
Yeah, and all year long you've just seen glimpses. You know, Riley Gerhart consistently week in and week out, but Georgia and Georgie Maheo is just really showing up, and now Tequez Chapman has really done a nice job today. Vance Dumas when he's been in there. All those guys.
2nd down and 10 for the Vikings. They lead 14-3 with 3:29 left to go until the break. 3 receivers, play action, dropping back and looking as Evett, throwing near side of the field. This ball flutters on him and ends up incomplete. Anthony Russell with the coverage near side against Cameron Shepard, and it will be 3rd down and 10. I'm a little surprised that, the quarterback rotation obviously is one thing, but I'm not sure Presentation College has been better for it today. They really seem to have been out of sync with their offensive unit today.
Yeah, I don't know if the injury early to the wide receiver on the first play, if that was a big part of their game plan for the week, if that's had an effect on it. But you're right, it has been out of sync.
4 receivers, actually 5. Tripson twins, trips to the near side of the field. Evett the snap, late blitz by the Vikings. Throw right side, pass incomplete, intended for Shepard. 3 men out there to cover. Blake King had a chance on it. Paco Baltazar over to wrap it up. And Corey, to that point, the man that was injured after the first play, Jonah Evans, he's come on to hold place kicks since then. So he may be able to play. Maybe they just don't want to run him back out there in that spot, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I did. All indications what I saw and witnessed when he went off the field, and his legs totally went out from underneath him. I can't believe that his helmet hasn't been taken away from him.
Yeah. So here's 4th down, and Luis Ferreira will punt the football for Presentation College into a pretty stiff wind this afternoon. He gets a good snap, kick nearly blocked again. Beautiful punt against the wind. High driving spiral that Taylor Simmons can't do anything with. This will roll back to the 15-yard line, and the Vikings will take over 1st and 10 at their own 15. That was a heck of a punt against this wind. Beautiful driving, spiraling kick, and tough to do a whole lot better against these elements than that today. And so the Vikings, 3:05 to go. I believe they have 2 timeouts remaining, leading 14-3 from their own 16-yard line. One more chance to get down the field and put some points on the board before the break.
Yeah, effective weapon for them today. That's been 2 nice punts. I think a 37-yarder, and that one was about 49 into the wind.
Yeah, that was a great kick. Really tough to do a whole lot more with that. But again, you take a look at those flags and the pylons, or on the goalposts on the Vikings side of the field, as Taylor Simmons runs on 1st down, gets out ahead of the 20 to around the 22 for a gain of about 6. Those flags would actually indicate that the breeze is blowing that direction. So again, there's a bit of a swirl here at Locken Stadium that can be a little difficult to judge. 6-yard carry for Simmons. That will give him 30 yards on the day. 49 yards, the leading rusher for the quarterback, Noah Chambers. Taylor Simmons with 30. And the Vikings have a 2nd down and 4 from their own 22. Single receivers going each way. Simmons again out of the pistol with Simmons waiting behind him. Chambers takes the snap, gives to Simmons, looks up the middle, and Simmons is in trouble right at the 21-yard line. He'll go down for a loss on the play. And Dennis McCulloch and the Viking crowd reacting again with another overly physical play at the end of a play. And again, it's the same man that we've been talking about on those situations throughout the day, Braxton Bates. But here comes 3rd down and 4. They will put the ball back at the line of scrimmage. I saw Presentation College play at Mayville State last year, and it was one of those situations where things got really chippy. There were a couple of disqualifications, and just once in a while, this unit can be a little difficult to tame. 3 receivers to the left. Shotgun snap coming up for Chambers on 3rd down with Bice behind him. Chambers dropping back, wants to throw, throws over the middle, flag is down. Ame Gokpoe has the catch. He'll take a hit up at the 41-yard line. As it stands, it's a 19-yard pickup and a 1st down, but a couple of flags right in the vicinity of holding in the middle of that pocket the Vikings were trying to create, and we'll see if they're going to get ticketed.
Yeah, it's going to be holding here, just the nature of who threw the flag and what he was looking at, what then happened. But let's give credit.
69, offense.
Troy Dietz will pick up the holding penalty.
Let's give credit to the fact that it was a nice throw, a nice route, nice catch.
Everything was good.
And yeah, it was. And so, those are things to build off of, and we can't discount and forget that those things did happen.
1:33 left now. It'll be 3rd down and 14 for the Vikings. And when you look at that play for Noah Chambers, he's been looking downfield and finding men accurately today. He's seeing some things in that next level of the field. Maybe just a continual progression for this young man at quarterback. 3 receivers, Twins left on 3rd and 14. Chambers a designed rollout. Looking left side, going to throw him with touch to the flat, and this one's picked off. That was not a good throw. Taken away on the far side of the field by Isaiah Lawson. Lawson setting up near side return. Several flags are down on the return. Lawson is hit and knocked out of bounds at the 26-yard line of Valley City State. A Viking is down on the field. There are flags where that Viking is down. That's Justice Bice, who is knocked down on the play. 2nd turnover of the day against the Vikings, and we'll see what the penalties are going to be.
Yeah, I think you're going to see possibly a blindside block on that. Again, when you have a turnover like that, your defensive players probably aren't used to, number one, the blocking rules. Number two, they look at it as their opportunity to kind of get back at those guys.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block.
Yep, illegal blindside block is the call.
Presentation. It's going to be a 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
They're going to mark this back from the 26. So the Saints will go back to the 42-yard line, officially marked back from the 27. So the Saints from the 42 with 1:09 to play. They have all 3 of their timeouts remaining, and you go very quickly from a place where the Vikings had almost complete control of the football game to a big play makes this a 1-score game going to halftime.
And why? Because of a punter.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 good punts that flipped the field in Presentation's favor into the wind.
Holding penalty as well in that sequence against the Vikings, a big part of it. 5 receivers. The throw by Evan is incomplete. Here comes several flags. And I think that they are going to ticket Viking defensive back Colton Taylor for holding or pass interference. If it's pass interference, the ball was uncatchable. Defensive holding could be an option. Let's see what they're going to call. Right now they're talking things over. One thing that has been the case here today, it's been a hard game to enjoy because of the ragged nature of the penalties.
No, you can't call pass interference on that.
That's what they called, by the way.
Yeah, it is, and the ball was uncatchable, and as the receiver turned to make his break, it ended up looking like more of a curl route than an out route, and the quarterback threw it well into the sidelines.
So, 1st down and 10 at the 35 of the Vikings following the pass interference penalty. Here's a ground ball snap, and Tim Evatt has to just go back and cover up the football. And let's see, there's some debris on the field. I was looking for flags because that's been the way the game has been played today. And now Presentation is going to call for timeout. as that will be a loss of 12 yards, and we'll bring up a second down at 22 for Presentation College when we continue in just a couple of moments. So stay with us. The Vikings leading 14-3 as we continue on our LaRue Lockout Financial scoreboard, and we will be back with more Viking football following the presentation timeout. This is Viking football on KOVC, the voice of the Valley.
This is Viking football on KOVC, the voice of the Valley.
Are you on the right financial path? Are all your financial professionals on the same page? At LaRue Lockout Financial, you can be assured that your investment professional and tax professional are working together. Call Ryan LaRue at 701-845-6938 or James M. Lockout, CPA, at 845-1660. Services offered through Investment Advisors, a division of Pro Equities Incorporated, a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Pro Equities Incorporated, a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA and SIPC.
Back after the quick timeout by Presentation College. It'll be second down and 22 for the Saints from their Viking 46, after the turnover by the Vikings. Tim Evett dropping back, stepping up in the pocket, throwing right side, pass incomplete. DJ Costin was the intended target. Evett takes a big hit on the end of that play from Georgie McNeil. Here comes third down and 22 for Presentation College. Clock stop with 58 seconds left to go until halftime. The Vikings up 14-3.
It'll be interesting here to see if we stop them, and if it is a play where the clock keeps going. Do we call timeout here?
I think you do.
And I think we get after the punter.
Vikings will send 3 men deep, kind of the cover 3. 6 defensive backs for the Vikings. On third down and 22, shotgun snap to Evett. Riley Gerhardt had a handful of jersey held on him. They'll throw to Costin. The ball's ripped out, but Costin's down at the 38. The Vikings will call for timeout, I believe, after an 8-yard pickup on the throw for DJ Costin. The clock ran down to 44 seconds. There were whistles almost immediately. And Dennis McCulloch, the head coach of the Vikings, down the Viking sideline, talking with the judge on this side, Lance Lukes, and apparently they're in agreement with how the clock was ran in that situation. So the clock continues to run. There was no timeout. Here comes fourth down and 13 for Presentation College with 4 receivers. Evett dropping back, throwing near side, pass caught near the first down yardage, and that'll be a pickup of Cameron Shepard for a first down for Presentation College down to the 24. They'll get 13 yards on that, and it's first and 10 for PC.
Yeah, a couple unfortunate things there. The fact that the first down was picked up, and then that we weren't able to keep him in bounds to let the clock expire.
So first and 10, Presentation College from the Viking 24. Evett with 4 receivers, 3 to his right, dropping back. He's in trouble again, throwing right side of the field, and a long run to come back to it for Kevin Wright. That will end up short and incomplete. Again, we saw a handful of jersey on a Viking player kind of get stretched out there. It seems like PC might be getting away with a little bit of clutching up there. Second down and 10 coming up for the Saints. Clock will run down to 14 seconds left in the opening half. The Vikings leading 14-3, and it seems like the mission right now is just keep the Saints out of the end zone and a couple of home run balls. I don't know if the Saints have a whole lot more to do but that is throw to the end zone. 5 receivers, trips and twins, trips to the right for Evett onto the shotgun on second down and 10. He's got an empty backfield. Evett takes the snap, dropping back, looking left, comes back to Brad Johnson, and Johnson's out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Be a gain of about 4. That's what you called him. He's number 14. He's not on the roster. You told me it's Brad Johnson. Corey, it's Brad Johnson. He picked up 4 yards on the catch.
Maybe more Stephon Diggs, I guess, at that position, right?
We'll probably find out when they bring the first half numbers up officially. We'll be able to see whose name is associated with number 14. Here's third down and 6. 4 receivers, twins each way. Clock halted, 9 seconds left until halftime. Vikings trying to avoid a PC touchdown from the 20. Presentation College, right rolling out. Correction, Evett throwing right side. That's incomplete. He had to get rid of it quickly as both Magnejos and Riley Gerhardt were bearing down on him. And that'll bring the Saint field goal unit on to attempt what would appear to be about a 37-yard field goal with time down to 4 seconds left to go until the break. So we'll see the Vikings coming up at halftime. We'll take a look at those numbers, and Toast of the Morning will once again have a V500 or Valley City State University Foundation halftime conversation, so stay tuned for that. Luis Ferreira from 37 for 3 points near the horn. Kick is on its way, angled far side of the field. Boy, he used the wind well, but it blew back to the near side of the field. No good. That's the way the first half will come to a conclusion. Ferreira angled that kick towards the right goalpost, knowing that crosswind was coming out of the side.
Hey college students, are you looking for a part-time job that works around your schedule, pays well, and gives you free money for college every year? McDonald's offers all of it. We can work around your schedule, and we give $2,500 scholarships to everyone who works for 3 months and averages 15 hours per week. That's 2 full shifts a week or 3 shifts of 5 hours. It's that easy. We've already given out more than $75,000 to students in North Dakota this year. Let us help you become the next scholarship recipient. Come join our team. Text ND29 to 38000 to apply today.
You live life on the move. While you determine what direction that may be, we're here to help along the way. So go. Go with values. Go with friends. Go with support. Go with convenience.
Saw that name somewhere, but it's just not on the roster. Okay, so it's not Brad Johnson.
No, shout out to Jordan Amry. Thank you for still contributing to Viking football, Jordan, even though you can't be.
How did he find? How did he? He must have went on the PC roster. He must have went online.
He's just a smart kid from Leonard.
Oh, okay. I mean, I went. One of my roommates was from Leonard when I was at Valley City State back in the day. And are we sure they're from Leonard, or is that the Chaffee, greater Chaffee area? Or
Leonard, I think, is what we
right in town in Leonard.
No, it's between Enderlin and Leonard.
Okay, he's out on a farm.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Gotcha. Yeah. When I talk to people about Laverne, they always ask, "Do you live right in town?" I'm like, "There's 30 people, right?" Of course, it's always in town. That's where it's at.
It's like being from Cloton.
Something like that, right? How many people are in Cloton nowadays, Corey?
-3.
-3. That's because Corey moved away. Yeah. Okay, at the end of the opening half of play, your score on the LaRue Lockout Financial scoreboard is the Vikings 14, Presentation College 3. Our halftime report is on the way. We'll take a look at those numbers here in a couple of moments. And before we do that, our toast in the morning, we'll have a conversation with the VCSU Foundation, something that we've been able to do at halftime throughout the course of the year, and it's a great conversation to have as you find out what it is that they're up to at the VCSU Foundation. So that is coming up next. Do stay with us. This is Viking football on the Voice of the Valley and the Voice of the Vikings, KOVC.
This is Viking football on KOVC, the Voice of the Valley.
Fall is here, and that means tailgating, hunting, and harvest season. Make sure you include quality meats and snacks from Valley Meat Supply. Ready for some football? Valley Meat has all your favorites for the grill. Thick, juicy steaks, burger patties, brats, and all beef wieners. Valley Meat Supply also has you covered during the hunting and harvest season with sandwich meats and a variety of cheeses, beef sticks, and jerky. No matter what field you're on, you're number one with Valley Meat Supply, West Main, Valley City.
Grotberg Electric believes in quality first, taking pride in the work and standing behind every project they do. They bring together the power, technology, and experience to keep your business online. The success of Grotberg Electric depends on 3 major ideals: the quality of their products, the commitment to their customers, and most of all, their customer service. Call Grotberg Electric today at 845-3010 or visit them online, grotbergelectric.com.
Ivy Real Estate Group, your locally owned real estate brokerage, is cheering for the home team. Listen to KOVC for the Ivy Real Estate Group Player of the Game following every Valley City Highliner and VCSU Vikings game.
Why choose professional eye care centers? Let's count the whys. First, there are now 4 great doctors to see: Dr. Frank, Dr. Freilich, Dr. Jangula, and now welcoming Dr. Bond. Next is their many locations. You can now see one of their spectacular doctors in Jamestown, Valley City, Carrington, and Edgeley. And finally, their fantastic frame selection. And yes, all of their frames and lenses are backed up by warranty. Visit proeyecarecenters.com and make an appointment today. Professional eye care centers, clearly the best.
Don't leave your wiring to chance. Plug into your number one electrical source, Highline Electric. They're the experts in residential, commercial, and industrial electrical work. No cutting corners at Highline Electric. Call 845-0731. They'll give you a free estimate before any work is done. family owned since 1986 with Chad and Tracy Zahn. And I promise,
The price won't shock you.
Highline Electric in Valley City. Call 845-0731. Building a reputation of integrity and quality.
No matter where you live, you should have access to high-quality health care. Jamestown Regional Medical Center's orthopedic and sports medicine team offers care for hips, shoulders, knees, and toes. When an injury occurs, teams need care quickly. That's why the JRMC orthopedic team promises same-day and next-day appointments. Schedule direct at jrmcnd.com or call 952-4878.
Jamestown Regional Medical Center will never stop building for you.
It's halftime, and we're with Corey Anderson, VCSU Foundation Office. Corey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tim. How are you?
I am great. Football season still going full swing. Up and down year for the Vikes, but hey, you know, when you're young, I guess you go through those growing pains.
That is how it goes. We have all been there. You know, we've been very spoiled by the success this program's had for the last 25 to 30 years, and it doesn't come without a couple of hiccups, and, you know, it makes us appreciate the times that we are on the top of the standings. And, hey, the boys are in second place right now. They have destiny in their own hands.
Let's talk V500, the drive going on right now. Where are we at this point?
You bet. Every fall since 1972, we kick off our V500 drive, and it's just a pivotal part of what we do with the scholarship program at Valley City State. And, you know, one of the major things that are going on in education right now is the cost to go to school and the debt that our students are incurring each and every year continues to rise. We are happy to announce at VCSU that, you know, we've been able to stabilize that our rates as far as the debt are concerned are not nearly as high as they are at other institutions. And one of the reasons for that is programs like our V500 program. And we have been very fortunate in the, you know, since 1972 to have a bunch of people that have valued VCSU, valued bringing new students to our university that can become part of the community. And when you look around our community and you see the number of people that are Valley City State grads, very few of them would have been somebody that wouldn't have been touched by a V500 scholarship at some point in time in their career. So it's a great program. We're investing in the future of our youth. We're investing in our community by stepping forward and you know, it doesn't take a large commitment. You know, those terms are very easy to come by. We can do pledges. We can do yearly. We can do monthly. Every little bit counts. And when we stack all of the available funds that we have together and we can come up with our scholarship allotment to help as many students, last year to the tune of, you know, $1.96 million, it makes a huge impact. And, you know, 90% of our incoming students are able to be assisted with scholarship, and that's really an important feature.
Let's talk about the VCSU alumni, some of the best givers in the country.
Absolutely. You know, I think they realize the experience, and they have learned that, you know, it's although it's fun to receive, there's a personal satisfaction in being able to give. And again, it's not only giving of money, it might be giving of time, it might be giving of talent. There's several things like that, you know, we're interested in anything that way that can help us advance the university forward. And, you know, if you have a passion for the university, see us. Come see us, give me a call, visit our website. We would love to have you partner with us and you know, do more great things moving forward.
Is it too early to talk about the V500 banquet?
It is not. That comes up December 9th, and the banquet will be at VCSU on the campus, and we'll have the opportunity that night to celebrate the successes that we've had during the campaign to that point, and hopefully have a special surprise at the end of the evening that night as well. But that is coming, and so get that on your calendar. If you're a V500 member right now, it's December 9th. If you want to join V500 and you're not familiar with it, we can get you involved, and we'd love to sit down and find a sweet spot for you that makes you feel better, allows you to contribute to the university and allows students to be able to realize a pivotal part in their life and get that college education.
And you can catch all that on the website too.
You can, if you go to give.vcsu.edu, you can see all the opportunities right there, or call our office 845-7216, and we would be glad to help you.
Very good, Corey. Always good talking to you.
Great to be here. We appreciate all you do.
Go Vikes!
This is Amy Heim, nurse practitioner with Sanford Health. Well child checks are important visits for children of every age. Yearly well child checks are recommended for children 3 and older and more frequently for those younger than 3. It is at these visits that growth, development, and preventative care are addressed in an effort to keep children as healthy as possible. Recommended immunizations are also discussed and provided at these visits. Call 742-3267 to schedule at your local Sanford Health Clinic in Ellendale, Foreman, Gwinner, Lemoore, Lisbon, or Oaks.
The keys to the game are brought to you by RE/MAX Now of Valley City and Jamestown. Just as the keys to today's game offer growth, success, and opportunity for the future, so do the keys to your new property. Whether you're looking for the keys to your starter home, the keys to home where you raise your family, the keys to your business, or the keys to your lake home or retirement property, for every step of the way, RE/MAX Now of Valley City and Jamestown are here for you. Check out our website, findrealtynow.com, for pictures and virtual tours.
They're getting ready for the holidays at Central Avenue Health Mart Pharmacy, your community Health Mart pharmacy. This Friday and Saturday, it's Save a Buck, Spend Some Dough days with a 30-pointer sale. Save 30% off crafts. On November 17th, take 10% off compression wear. November 21st is Central Craft Club. At 7 p.m., bring in any craft you want to work on. And the entire month of November, take 25% off jewelry. You'll find all your gifts and healthcare needs at Central Avenue Health Mart Pharmacy, downtown Valley City. It's halftime once again. Toast in the Morning with you on KOVC and Viking football. And we're going to be talking Century Club membership and the drive going on right now. Kim Hesh with us and Shar Hushka. Kim, how's the drive going so far?
It's been going pretty good. We kicked off in August, and our membership drive helps us raise scholarships for our student athletes.
And we have a lot of athletes out there right now.
We do. We have about 270 athletes in 14 different sports, and those are our varsity sports that they represent.
And where does that money go?
It goes all to scholarships. We kind of spread it out per team, and they are able to use that for recruiting and retaining our student athletes at Valley City State.
Well, let's talk to Shar about some of those activities that you have going on for fundraising.
Yeah, we have a ton of activities we have going on. We host tailgating before all the home football games and do a 50-50 raffle at halftime.
By the way, I still haven't won that yet, but I'm anxiously still buying tickets, you know?
Neither have I. So we also will be playing bingo during halftime at all the men's and women's basketball games this season. And one of our newer events is Bacon Bingo at Brock Up Brewing.
Been a board member for what, about 2 years?
Yep, going on 2 years now.
Now, how you like that?
It's been fun. I like to participate in all the events we get to do and see all the people that support VCSU.
And I have seen both of you doing a little cooking, too, and on the food line at the football tailgating.
Yeah, we leave the grilling to Sparky, but we get to serve all the good food and get the compliments.
All right. Let's go back to Kim again. Kim, the Century Drive been going for many, many years and been very, very good.
It has been very successful. We raise dollars and then kind of award out about $331,000 worth of scholarships each year to the athletes. And that money comes from our membership drive, our fundraising things that Charlotte mentioned, and then we also have like the golf scramble and the scholarship auction in the springtime.
All right. Bacon bingo too, huh?
Yeah, bacon bingo. I haven't been there yet for the event, but I think Char has helped a lot with that event.
Very good. Well, if we still want to jump on as a member or maybe just a membership, how do we do that?
Right. We have a lot of different membership levels, so something to meet everybody's needs. There's different benefits for it. You can get reserved seating. You get a season ticket with some of the different levels. And you can call our office, the VCSU Foundation office, at 845-7203.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Go Vikings.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Go Vikes. And And it's kind of weird. We've got football and basketball all going at the same time, and volleyball.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of a busy season right now. You got a volleyball game this past Wednesday night with basketball, and men's and women's teams are on the road today with a tournament down in Sioux City, Iowa. And yeah, so they're busy.
Tell you, a lot of sports going on. That's good for us. Thank you, Kim Hesh and Shar Hushka, talking about the Century Club membership drive. And that'll do it today for our halftime interview.
Now back to Viking football on the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
Well, you heard a lot of information there about various things at Valley City State University. There's two things. First of all, part of that's on me. Well, actually, it's all on me because I'm the one that played the wrong interview to get started. Corey Anderson got to go 2 times in a row, which is, I mean, it's okay. It's not fair, but it's okay because Corey's up here. And then this week, Shar Hushka and Kim Hesh, who I believe is completing her 692nd year at Valley City State University. I mean, Kim's been there forever, hasn't she? She's just, I mean, Kim Hesh is an institution at Valley City State.
She is, and the scary thing is she's still younger than me.
Yeah. Is she younger than me, too? I'm 47.
I think she's older than you.
Well,
I'm not going to say that.
Okay.
Kim's timeless, right?
Oh, she absolutely is, yeah. So then you had a chance to hear from them about the Century Club membership drive right now. And there are so many different ways that you can help out Valley City State. And you got to hear about a couple of them there, V500, and then, of course, Century Club. And, Corey, you can explain the Century Club to us as well. But that is the benefit arm for student athletes at Valley City State. And a lot of people don't know this about how it works, but we don't take tuition money at Valley City State and use it for athletic scholarships. The Century Club is 100% of the way that happens. And sometimes there's this misnomer that college students are paying tuition so other college students can come play, and that's not how we do things at Valley City State.
No, it isn't. And, we're in the NAI, and largely 80%, 81% of the NAI is private school. And they would have that opportunity to waive tuition, for instance, and not have to raise the dollars behind it. We are a state institution, and that's not how it works.
Sure.
Anything that we do in terms of any kind of waivers or things like that, we need to have the money behind those things. So it's really important for us, and we've have been doing it for quite some time, going back into the 80s and probably even to the end of the 70s, where the Century Club has been the driver for bringing student athletes to this campus. And, when you talk about 270 student athletes, that's an impact that, we can't duplicate in other areas. I mean, that really helps not only our university and our head counts and things like that, but provides entertainment. It's people in our community, brings culture, obviously, to our campus, and just is really impactful. And we are very grateful. I mean, we are so lucky. We have a lot of people that care deeply about this institution, and I think that they've had that opportunity to be involved with people from across the state, and they know what they get when they get people from Valley City and the university here, and it's an easy place for people to fall in love with and reciprocate it if they can.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are so blessed to be able to have people like that on our side.
And the other thing to mention, too, about the Century Club and the way that the money is used, it would be really easy for a campus like a Valley City State to just say, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have football and volleyball. We're going to have men's and women's basketball. We're going to have baseball and softball, and that's what we're going to do. And we're going to take our Century Club money, and we're going to put it all into that and just try to be really, really good at those few offerings. But no, over the course of time, track and field, cross country, golf, you never stop looking. And, the university's willing not only to fund those athletes, but they're looking to fund a variety of those athletes rather than concentrate in a certain thing that they do.
Absolutely. No, it's certainly not specific. And, you look at the success that the football program's had here for the last 30 years, from Jim Dew to Dennis McCulloch. And, it's attributed to the dollars invested in it, but it's also attributed to the work that those people have done. And, we are just blessed to have had two individuals that have stayed here and been leaders like this for as many years as they have. And, they wouldn't do it unless they felt supported either. And so I think that's a critical part of it going both ways.
And the Century Club is a great way to get season tickets. The membership levels are not that expensive, folks, and they will bill that monthly, so you don't have to come up with all the money right away. So there's a lot of different ways to get involved. Be involved in the Century Club, because when you are, you bring these athletes to campus so that we continue to have these opportunities come out here on a Saturday afternoon in November where, yeah, it might be a little bit of chilly and the wind's blowing, but I'll tell you what, the sun's out and it's really a nice day and a great way to enjoy it in a place like Valley City, North Dakota, by taking in some college football, where today Valley City State leads Presentation College by a score of 14-3. A quick glance through the halftime numbers. Presentation College has been limited to negative 24 yards rushing in the opening half. 93 for the Vikings. The Saints threw it for 82. The Vikings threw it for 79 in the first half play. Tim Evatt, 10 of 19 for 82 yards and a pick. Caden Frazier, 0 of 3 with a pick for Presentation College today. For the Vikings, Noah Chambers, 8 of 15 with a pick and 31 yards is long, 79 total yards. Noah Chambers has rushed it for 50 yards today. Taylor Simmons for 29 yards. Justice Bice, just 13. That's one thing the Saints did that we thought was good on their part, was they decided they weren't going to let Justice Bice run all over them today, so they've really keyed on him. But Noah Chambers has been a really good substitute running the football. And the Vikings, believe it or not, the pick outstanding. Noah Chambers has thrown the football downfield today really well.
Yep, he has, and the stats don't show it, but 2 long passes, one long touchdown pass that was called back because of holding, and then another, 10 to 15 yard pass that probably was the most impressive pass that he's had today, that was also negated by penalty, but growth, and that's all we can hope for, is that there's growth.
There were 12 penalties in the opening half, and that was something that really slowed down the rhythm of the football game. Presentation College will get the ball first. They will be moving into the wind here in the third quarter. The Vikings lead 14-3 as we start the second half of football. Masilla Siwa will kick the football away. Line drive, end over end kick near side of the field and out of bounds. And the Saints look to be taking over at the 35-yard line. Worth mentioning, the Viking basketball teams are in action today at the Pentagon down in Sioux Falls. That's a building where they play basketball, not where they make decisions about national defense. And today, the second day of that, I believe they're up against Mount Marty for both the men and the women. The Viking volleyball team won 2 5-set matches this week, because apparently it's now illegal for the Vikings to play less than 5 sets in a volleyball. Do you know how many 5-set matches they've had this year, Corey? It's phenomenal. They've been in a bunch of them that have gone the distance this year.
Yeah, they have, and they, they're getting better. I guess they just want to play.
Yeah, well, it's an opportunity to get right. Why play 3 sets when you can play 5?
Absolutely.
We can go with that.
Yeah.
They'll be in the conference tournament next week in Watertown. Yeah. They're still waiting to find out what their seed will be. Some of those matches that play today will determine some of that. So, winning in 3 is okay, Corey. You still won the same amount of sets, but
you're trying to be more democratic about things. Letting everybody play and doing those things.
Yeah,
so.
The fans that come out, give them their money's worth.
And
right?
we're paying the officials for 5, right?
Well, that's a baseball guy there. An umpire can't wait to get off the field in 4.5 innings in the 10-run rule, and then the next game they'll go 12 innings, and that's what Corey Anderson will say. Well, we pay him for 12 because it's the same amount, whether it's 5 or 7 or 9 or 12 innings.
We pay you for strikes and outs. You need to find strikes and outs.
Yeah, we had a 3-man crew a couple of years ago when Red River and Central finished number 1 and number 2 in the Eastern Dakota Conference. They both hosted Tuesday night games, and we had one of those games go 10 innings and one go 9. We were out there for 19 innings that day and a couple of games that were supposed to be 14 inning long. So.
And the scorecard was 100, just like the guy the other night in the playoffs?
No, it was not.
Okay.
Cunningham was behind the plate in that game between Shanley and Red River. He wasn't anywhere near 100. First down and 10. The ball given to DJ Costa to the backfield on first down. Tim Evatt starting the game at the quarterback spot here in the second half. And a loss of a couple of yards on the play. This will not be DJ Costin, however, though. Apologies. This is going to be Abdullahi Yusuf, who caught the football once in the opening half. He gets in now as the tailback. We haven't seen him there at all today. It'll be second down and 12 for Presentation College. So Yusuf will run for -2 yards. Again, minus 24 yards as a team in rushing for the Saints in the opening half. A throw to Yusuf in the flat on second down. He's gained, or actually will bring down for a minimal gain. Jahidi West with a very good open field tackle. That'll be a gain of 4. Boy, Jahidi West just looks like a different guy in the second half of the season. He has been such explosive as a linebacker.
Yeah, he has, and much like what we saw all of last year, I think he's just more comfortable again and just really gotten into just reacting and getting there as fast as he possibly can.
3rd down and 8 with 4 receivers for the Saints. Dropping back is Evan under a bit of pressure late. Throws over the middle. The pass is caught, and a stretch at the very last moment for the backup tight end. Lawrence Plummer may get him a first down. It looks like it will. Plummer reaches out and is able to get it to the 45-yard line. They needed 8, and Plummer's going to pick up 9 on his first catch today. 1st and 10, a looping snap to Everett. He'll throw to Wright, who got a block on the right side, and Wright gets loose between a pair of defenders. Another first down as he'll move inside the Viking 45 and is down to the 44. A pickup of 11 yards and a first down for the Saints. That'll be 4 catches on the day for 35 yards for Kevin Wright. And that time the Vikings had a couple of defenders out there and just did not get him picked up. 1st and 10 at the 44. Saints out of the gun again. Everett dropping back. 4-man rush. Throws underneath. This is Yusuf again looking for a place to move. Oh, did he take a shot as he got to the 40 and goes down to the 38. He got lit up by Magneo, but another pickup of 6 yards, and the Saints are on the move here early.
Yeah, and I think that you see their adjustment at halftime as they decide, okay, we're going to just clear out and run people deep, and then we're going to throw underneath and just accumulate yards.
And they're doing it. 2nd down and 4 for Presentation College. Again, Tim Everett getting the start at quarterback here in the second half. They played 2 quarterbacks interchangeably today. Everett dropping back under pressure again, throws to Yusuf again, and a first down again as Yusuf steps out of bounds inside the 30, is down to the 29-yard line. Pickup of 9 yards once again for Abdullahi Yusuf, and it's a first down for Presentation College.
Putting a lot of pressure on our linebackers there to get out there on the flat. You know, normally the cornerback in a cover 2 has got that flat defender, but they have 2 other people that they're already worried about over there, and they just snuck the running back out as the 3rd one.
1st down and 10, 5 defensive backs in the game now for the Vikings. Shotgun snap, play action to Yusuf, rolling near side Everett, throwing, and the pass is caught up and around the 18-yard line near the first down marker. Cameron Shepard making a diving catch. That'll be good for 11 yards for Cameron Shepard. This is a very different Presentation College team than we saw in the first half. They were defeated going into the locker room. Right now, they're on fire moving down the field. 1st and 10, PC back inside the red zone of Valley City State. 4 receivers, twins each way. Everett waiting out of the shotgun. Costin is once again back with him in the backfield. A drop back by Everett, throwing back, corner fade, and this one is caught for a Presentation College touchdown. It's Kevin Wright on a beautiful back shoulder fade that was thrown by Tim Everett to the far corner of the end zone. That one will go from 18, and the Saints blitz down the field and score to close the gap to 5.
Well, they took the shot that time, and I thought the receiver did a really nice job on Anthony Russo, who was covering him, and he didn't look like the ball was coming to him. You know, a lot of times the defensive backs are looking those receivers in the eyes to see, okay, when they look up, then, you know, or they put their arms out, then that's how they get into their defensive posture. And that time Russell just didn't react, and I think it's just because of the deke by the receiver.
So the score will come at 12:02 remaining of the 3rd quarter. Luis Ferreira is on for the extra point. Kick on its way. Tried to hook it inside that far upright, and he did. So the kick is good, and Presentation College makes a statement to get this second half started. They go down the field and score to make it 14-10. The Viking lead cut to 4 as we have a timeout for Mobility Plus Rehabilitation, and the Vikings get the ball when we come back. On the LaRue Lackow Financial Scoreboard, the Vikings 14, Presentation College 10. This is Viking football on the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
This is Viking football on KOVC, the Voice of the Valley.
At CHI Mercy Health, we believe human kindness is at the root of all healing, providing care on a human level, courage when it's needed most, and a connection that's ever present among us all. Human kindness is meant to be shared. It puts a smile on someone's face and seeks to do the same for others. Take the time to nourish what's inside and watch your life flourish outside, because taking care of yourself is an act of human kindness. Just like human kindness, happiness can come from the most unexpected places. Whether it's from your friend, your dog, or a memory, embrace it and pass it on. CHI Mercy Health of Valley City.
Now back to Viking football on the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
With Corey Anderson, Ryan Cunningham with you here today. The Vikings lead is 14-10 after Presentation College goes down the field on their opening drive and scores with an aerial attack. Taylor Simmons on the kick return from the 8-yard line across the 20 and the 25 and rumbles down to the 27 where the Vikings will take over 1st and 10. So now, Corey, like you just mentioned, you get a little haymaker to the face here to start the second half, and now it's up to the Viking offense to come out and counter and sort of reestablish some control of the game.
Yeah, it's time to pull the pads up and tighten them up and play some big boy football here and impose your will and establish. Let's just keep getting positive yards as we go down the field here and tell them we can answer it.
1st and 10. The Vikings with 2 receivers to each side of the football field. Noah Chambers out of the shotgun. Justice Bice behind him. Bice will get it, cuts towards his right, and then slides back to the middle and gains the 30 for a gain of about 3 yards. He's stopped in the middle by Braxton Bates for Presentation College. 3-yard pickup for Bice. It'll be 2nd and 7 for the Vikings. So the Vikings get back into their running game, and that's something where they really struggled. Justice Bice had only 13 yards at halftime running the football, so they're looking to establish him today. 2nd down and 7, 3 receivers this trip, Twins to the left, Bice, little stretch play fake, they give to Chambers, and Chambers is taken down by Bates back at the 29. Chambers trying to call his own number on a bit of a zone read, and ends up going down for a loss on the play, and it's 3rd down and 8, and it's Braxton Bates that makes the stop again.
And what we really like to stay away from here is getting into that sequence of, in 3 downs, we're constantly going run, pass because we have to. And at some point in time, we probably need to adjust those tendencies up to make them a little bit more respectful of what we're going to do.
You hear the wind picking up again in the background as well. It's kind of changed a little bit also, if I'm not mistaken. Here comes 3rd down and 8 for Valley City State. 3 receivers. Chambers taking a shotgun snap. Good protection, but a twist has him on the run. He'll step back, throw near side. A pass caught up at the 39-yard line. Another big grab for Dominic Sotomayor with defensive backs all over him. Sotomayor with a 10-yard pickup. He's had a great day today, and it's 1st and 10 for the Vikings. Dominic Sotomayor had a 34-yard catch. He had a touchdown catch that was called back in the opening half due to a holding penalty, but Sotomayor has been playing extremely well today. He's a kid, a freshman out of Meridian, Idaho, and the Vikings are going to enjoy having him down the stretch of his career. 1st and 10 for Valley City State. 4 receivers again. Noah Chambers looking to the near side. Taylor Simmons is the man in the backfield now for the Vikings. The play clock is at 5 seconds. Chambers not appearing to be in any hurry, takes a knee-high snap with about 2 in the play clock. He'll roll near side in trouble, throws off his back foot and ends up throwing this incomplete in the direction of Taylor Simmons, but well covered by 2 men out in the flat. 2nd down and 10 coming up for the Vikings.
And again, they're playing man in our secondary, and that time our wide receiver Sotomayor on our nearest side here and Jacob Gottenberg both ran slants towards the middle of the field and ended up in the same proximity. I'm not sure if there was some confusion on that, if it just developed too long and they ended up going into each other, but something that definitely needs to be cleared up.
2nd down and 10 for the Vikings. Chambers waiting for a shotgun snap. The Viking line of scrimmage is the 39. Chambers takes the snap. 3 receivers go deep. Chambers steps up in the pocket, now wants to run, gets low, scampers forward ahead of the 40 to around the 41 for a minimal gain of a couple of yards. He'll be brought down by Weston Holdren, the middle linebacker for the Saints. 3rd down and 8 again for Valley City State. Couple of 3rd and longs they've had to manage on their first possession of the second half.
They have. But again, we changed our tendency up here now. First 2 downs were both passes. Would like to see more play action with it since we've been showing that early, but at least we're adjusting our tendencies.
Empty backfield for the Vikings on 3rd and 8. 5 wide receivers for Valley City State, Trips and Twins. Chambers dropping back, wants to throw. Again, looking for someone open, throws over the middle of the field. Pass is caught by Austin Young. He scampers out of bounds and will be shy of the yards to gain. He'll be at the 48 for the Vikings, which is a gain of 7. 4th down is coming up. Worth mentioning that a thick blanket of smoke is beginning to blow in to Lockett Stadium. Apparently there's a fire out there somewhere. It's been very dry, critical fire weather. And right now, it's enough to where it's actually causing a visibility concern. Not saying it affects the game, but up here, you can see it, you can smell it. It's kind of a big deal right now, Corey.
It definitely is.
I hope everyone's okay out there. We haven't heard the whistle or anything along those lines. Masila Siwa comes in to punt the football for the Vikings on 4th down and 1. Siwa puts a leg into one. High end-over-end kick, angled near side of the field, and this again ends up out of bounds. And we'll see where the Saints are going to take over this time. Right at the 20-yard line will be the indicator. 25 rather. So the Saints will take over the 25, and here's a big opportunity for Presentation College. You trail 14-10. You were down 14-3 basically the entire first half. Really no rhythm at all. Now you get a chance to go take a lead and really put the Vikings in a bad spot here.
Absolutely, and that was as nice of drive as I've seen all year in the North Star. The last one that they had. I mean, they executed everything. They protected well. Went to a variety of different receivers. Went short, went long, went left, went right, went over the middle. They found a rhythm on that particular drive.
Tim Evitt, who engineered that drive a couple of moments ago, is back in at the quarterback. 4 receivers, trips to his right on 1st down and 10 for the 25. Evitt rolling right side, looking in some trouble, throws to the flat, nearly picked off. Tequez Chapman had that in his grasp as he stepped in front of DJ Costin, who didn't even know he was having the ball thrown to him, and Chapman nearly took it away. In the end, it will fall incomplete. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Corey, I'm reading right now that the Saints have decided to let the Vikings rush. They're trying to actually take advantage of the Vikings coming up the middle of the field.
They are, and that time Costin, who he adjusted, traded over to the slot position just to try and block Gerhardt on the edge, and then turned into a receiver.
2nd down, they throw, and Jahidi West nearly takes one away. That one was out on one hand. He had to dive at it, incomplete. Pass intended towards DJ Costin. Tim Evitt is actually looking to the sideline at Lorenz Plummer, and Plummer's going off the field in favor of Kevin Wright. I think Tim Evitt was frustrated that somebody didn't do their job out on the edge. So here's 3rd down and 10 for PC, and this is a big 3rd down play for Valley City State. The Vikings leading 14-10, but the Saints went right down the field and scored on the first possession of the second half. The Vikings trying to force a stop. Evitt dropping back, looking right side, throws. It's caught and immediately dropped on the play is Jacob Miner, a freshman tight end out of Salt Lake City, Utah. It'll be 4th down and 6. Corey, did I see that the Vikings actually softened their rush a little bit on that possession after that last drive?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Riley Gerhardt's getting a lot of attention over on his side, and that time the tight end did not chip on him, but it forced Riley to go a little bit farther to the outside, I think, than what he has done in the past. I know that Tequez Chapman is also out. We had Mason Wurst in there, so maybe adjusted a little bit with what we were doing with our pass rush.
But on 4th down and 6, the Saints will now look to punt the football. Luis Ferreira will wait to take the snap at his own 16 for Presentation. Low snap again, nearly blocked. The Vikings have had good pressure on it today. Simmons put the ball on the ground. The Vikings may have recovered it. Now it's loose again. And we'll see. Presentation College says they have the football, and they do. Blake King had a chance at it. And I believe it was Shaden Luna that actually had the chance to come up. It might not have been Simmons that was back there. It may have been Luna. The ball ends up going through Luna's hands. The Vikings had Blake King near it, couldn't recover it. And the Saints will take over at the Viking 46 after a miscue on special teams.
It's been a little bit of our nemesis this year. The return game on the punt side is reared its ugly head in the worst times for us.
So it's 1st and 10. Presentation College at the 46 of Valley City State. 7:28 to play here in the 3rd quarter. The Vikings leading 14-10, but the Saints the only team to score, and they've had the ball for the vast majority of this first half of the 3rd quarter. Evitt again, as the quarterback, motions right back towards the line, throwing screen pass to him. Evitt looking for a block, gets hit as he got to the 40, spins out of a tackle, never did go down to an E, and is down at the 38 as Ashton Rakino couldn't quite bring him down, and Kevin Wright has a pickup of 8 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 2 for the Saints.
And they're going with their NASCAR package here, just lining up on the ball and going with the next play.
4 receivers, 3 to the left on 2nd down and 2. DJ Costin up the middle, just designed to get a first down. He's caught from behind and pulled back by Riley Gerhardt, but it's enough. Pickup of 3 yards for DJ Costin to move the sticks for the Saints. It'll be 1st and 10 for Presentation from the 35. 9 positive yards rushing today on my sheet for DJ Costin. I'm looking at their rushing numbers. Yeah, they've got 7 in the first half, as I did, and he's the only person to run it for positive yardage today for the Saints. The smoke seems to have blown out of here, though. Maybe they got the fire out. Think so?
Could be.
All right. Don't let it restart again. Don't burn anything today, folks. It's blowing like 30 miles an hour. There's no such thing as a controlled burn when the wind is blowing 30, okay? 3 receivers, twins to the right. 1st and 10 for the Saints from the Viking 35. Right motions into the backfield. Runs some sort of crazy loop all the way across the back of the formation, and the play did not get started on time. And we'll see a delay of game penalty against Presentation College. That's the 7th penalty of the day against Presentation College. There were 12 penalties in the first half, so it's been a difficult day in that category for everybody. 1st down and 15 for the Saints, back at the Viking 40 now, with the clock ticking down to 6:15 to play in the 3rd quarter. 3 receivers to the right, a tight end on the left, along with DJ Costin to the left of Tim Evatt. Evatt waiting for a shotgun snap. He's got it. The Vikings bring four, throw to the near side. Costin tackled nicely in the open field by Blake King, right at the 39. Solid tackle by King, and maybe a yard pickup for Costin. It'll be 2nd down and 14 for the Saints. 2nd catch today for DJ Costin. He's got 9 on the ground and 9 through the air. The Saints try to get organized. Tequez Chapman's being carted off the field. He took a shot in the back, apparently, is what we're seeing there, and he's headed off to the locker room for repairs. On 2nd down and 14, 5 receivers, trips and twins, dropping back Evatt, stepping up in the pocket, flushed, rolling right side, looking, throwing into the seam on the far sideline. It's incomplete. It was intended for Mariano Nava, who's listed on the roster as 16. And we received word earlier that Mariano Nava is 14. They were both in on that play. So there's a big-time controversy now on the man who's a Leonard Panther as to figure out who the heck Mariano Nava is. Is he 14 or 16? Because now we don't have a 16. 16's been out there a couple times today. Here's 3rd and 14. 4 receivers. Nava motions behind the line of scrimmage, maybe. Evatt dropping back, hit, throws over the middle on a little screen pass. It's complete to Yusuf. Yusuf trying to run through tacklers. He's down to the 26. He's shy of the 1st down by a yard. And a big 4th down coming up here in the 3rd quarter as PC's going to face 4th and 1.
I've been really impressed with Evatt here. Just, the pass rush is getting to him, but he is finding his checkdowns and checkdowns for good yardage.
So it's 4th down and 1. The Saints will go for it from the Viking 26-yard line. 4 receivers, 3 left. Snap to Evatt. Throw near side. Right the catch. Split 2 defenders. Breaks a tackle to the 10 to the 5. He hits the pylon, and he's out of bounds at the 1-yard line for Presentation College. Evatt are actually right breaking a tackle and then another, and then got loose along the boundary, and the Saints are looking at 1st and goal from the Viking 1 on a 25-yarder to right.
They have done a great job on that screen to the outside today, and it's nothing other than your wide receivers needing to block, which they've done a good job, and their ball carriers running really, really hard after they catch the ball, and a little bit also of poor tackling on our part.
And we see right down on the field due to injury, took his helmet off as he went to the field. So we'll have a timeout here at Locken Stadium with 4:32 to play 3rd quarter. The Vikings clinging to a 14-10 lead, but the Saints have the ball and the Viking 1 when we come back on Viking Football.
This is Viking Football on KOVC, the voice of the Valley.
Brothers 3 has the area's widest variety of classic and new ice fishing tackle at the lowest prices to give you the edge this year. Before heading out on the ice, stop in and get your live bait and tackle and fill your tank with the highest quality gas and diesel. Brothers 3 is your locally owned and operated convenience store. As always, Brothers 3 has the lowest prices in town on everything, from snacks and drinks to winter gear and propane and automotive supplies. Remember, it pays to shop at Brothers 3.
Now back to Viking football on the voice of the Valley, KOVC.
All right, so Jordan Hamry, the Leonard Panther, telling us that that's Anthony Bridges that's wearing number 16 out there. Nonetheless, 1st and goal from the 1 for Presentation College, looking to take the lead. They led 3-0. Since then, it's been all Vikings until the 2nd half. Shotgun snap to Tim Evatt. Evatt lost the football. It's picked up by the Vikings. Picked up on the fumble by Martin Jones. Jones is going to go to the house. There is no one to catch him. Jones to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. It's a touchdown for Valley City State with 2 flags on the field, back and around the 40-yard line. As it is, a 99-yard fumble recovery for Jones to the house, but 2 flags down back shy of the Viking 40. It'll be after the return or on the return, so the Vikings, if it is against them, they will hold the football. It will still be Viking football, which will deny Presentation getting into the end zone for the lead, but it's going to take a score off the board for Valley City State. That'll be the second touchdown wiped out by penalty for the Vikings today.
I'm whenever plays like that happen, I have a tendency to just watch what happens behind because it has no bearing on the play. We just made a really horrible decision. Horrible decision. It was 30 yards behind the play, and we just needed to have better discretion. I don't know what's happening in the trenches. We make a terrible decision that...
Was it a hold? Was it a block in the back? Was it something more than that?
Yeah, it was unnecessary, whatever it was. We don't need to touch anybody.
Sure.
And a lot of times if I'm Presentation, I might be trying to bait something in this situation because I see it's going, right? I'm going to bait at.
Yep.
And so you need to be smarter than to get involved in anything behind the play. And unfortunately, it's going to cost Martin Jones.
Kicking, number 99, Valley City State, a 15-yard penalty. Also, during the return, we have sideline interference with contact. That's an unfortunate foul on Presentation. That's a 15-yard penalty. It'll be first down, Valley City State.
Okay, so after all of that, the Vikings were called for clipping. I haven't seen a clipping penalty in football in years. I mean, I've seen block in the back, the blind side block, all of it. I haven't seen a clipping penalty in a long time. Not that they don't exist, just haven't seen one. They also called sideline interference with contact against Presentation College. So they marched the ball back 15, forward 15. It still wipes out the touchdown. The Vikings have it at the 36.
Well, you saw the play. It came down our sideline. The flag was thrown in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
So 30 yards behind it.
Right. Yep. So if there's a blocking infraction there, it's totally unnecessary. That's up to you to read the play and know what's going on. And the defense turns into the offense. Sometimes they don't know, or sometimes just take an opportunity to hit somebody. Noah Chambers dropping back on play action. He's going to throw right side of the field, and he's got an open Austin Young, and he couldn't find him. Austin Young was open in the seam on the far side of the field. He had gotten between 2 cover men. Ball was thrown just a little bit shy of where it needed to be. It'll be second down and 10 for the Vikings.
Again, first down, we go for it there. We ran Dominic Sotomayor vertical up the sideline and had Austin Young come behind him, about 15 yards behind him. Great concept to it. We just weren't able to execute it. I don't know that we played the win. Tough win today to
Absolutely.
that side.
Second down and 10 for the Vikings from their own 36. Clock halted with 4:02 to play in the third quarter. 3 receivers. Chambers throwing. It's batted in the air, nearly picked off and incomplete. Couple of men coming in almost unabated. Ben Fossey was there to get part of the contact of the ball. Sam Motzkus also. And now we're looking at third down and 10. And all of a sudden, after the great, forcing of the turnover, the Vikings returning it for a touchdown, you're sitting in a situation where it's third down and 10, and the Vikings have been anemic offensively here in the second half. It's really been a struggle.
It has been. We just haven't been able to get any yards on first down that have allowed us to put ourselves in manageable down and distance from that point.
So here comes third down and 10 for the Vikings. Chambers taking a shotgun snap. He's rushed, throws near side of the field, can't find Justice Bice. He was under duress. So the Vikings are 3 and out, and they're going to punt the football. And it's really hard to get an idea about really what the feel is for either of these teams on the field right now. The offense for the Vikings has not been able to put it together. The defense comes up with a big stop and then has a touchdown wiped out. And Presentation College seems to have the majority of the momentum right now, although they feel like they're denied as they lose a chance on the 1 yard line.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things where energy determines behavior. And right now, the energy from PC is a little bit greater than what it is from Valley City.
Masilasiwa, another angled punt, and again, this one lands in lane 6 of the track, and Masilla's just had a tough day, and he knows it. He's coming off the field here, sort of batting himself in the thigh, knowing that one got away, and they're going to rule that out of bounds at the PC 46-yard line, so the Saints will take over only 54 yards from the end zone.
And Masilla, I just need you or someone to tell him, and it's hard. As a former punter in college, I get this. We just need to direct things a little bit more towards the middle of the field. It's kind of like playing the wind.
Sure.
Playing your slice in golf, right? You know it's going to happen. We got to play it so we can keep those things in the field because it's 3 in a row now.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a mirage, it's a trend.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where you can forgive one, maybe two, but at some point you have to start to adjust on your own. In the meantime, the Saints with 3 receivers, they'll motion a tight end across the formation. There's jumping up front, and Nick Delgado just allowed the officials to make a very easy decision because Delgado jumped and the Vikings pointed at him, and Delgado left his spot over the football and walked backwards 10 yards as if he just knew it would go against him. Normally, you at least start pointing that somebody drew you into that motion, but 1st and 15 now for the Saints. Back at the 41-yard line. 4 receivers again for Presentation College. Evett dropping back, throwing it underneath again. Costin looking for a hole, cuts the middle to the 50. That'll pick up 8 yards, maybe 9, actually 9 to midfield. That play has been wide open for the Saints the entire second half, and now they're going to go quickly again to prevent the Vikings from substituting. 2nd down and 6. Costin getting the football, running right side, short gain. He'll move to the 47. Here comes a 3rd down and 3 for Presentation College.
And they are 1 for 9 on 3rd downs so far today, 2 for 2 on 4th downs.
Yeah, and I would expect that they would go for it on 4th down here as well. Trailing 14-10 with 3:10 left to go here in the 3rd quarter of football. 4 receivers for Presentation College. Costin to the right of Tim Evett. Evett stepping back, taking a look at the sideline, reads the defense and takes the snap. 4-man rush for the Vikings, a throw underneath. Another pass caught by Kevin Wright, who gets open ahead of the 40, stays on his feet as the Viking strip drill is on him, and he lunges his way down to the 35 for a pickup of a 1st down and a pickup of 11 yards. Right on the day now on my play sheet has 97 yards on 8 catches for Presentation College.
And a little bit shoddy tackling on our part. Again, I think so much concentration on stripping the ball, forcing the turnover. That's emphasized a lot, but we need to make sure we keep them from getting advanced yards.
1st and 10 of the 35. Evett throwing near side of the field this time, incomplete. That was intended for Mariano Nava. We now have all of this. Thank you to Mr. Hamry. That was Mariano Nava, the intended receiver, and that one came up incomplete. And bring him 2nd down and 10. Next weekend, he's going to be in the box as our spotter at the Fargo Dome.
Hey, he's contributed on the football field for 5 years. Now it's to the broadcast team.
I like it. Yep, that's the way it works. Right after you're done playing, you go broadcast games. It's beautiful. I didn't follow that path because I couldn't play. Costin running right side on 2nd down stretch play. He ends up being knocked out of bounds just shy of the 1st down ahead of the 30 at around the 28. It'll be a pickup of around 7 yards maybe. And so here comes 3rd and 3. I'm assuming PC's in 4-down territory until they hit the end zone.
I think so. I mean, they've just, they've been able to find some things that are working for them now. And longest running play probably of the day for them right there.
Yeah.
Just done a nice sweep to the outside. And our defense has been on the field a long time.
In this 3rd quarter, they have been almost exclusively on the field. I don't know if the Vikings have a 1st down in this quarter. Here's 3rd down and 3. 5 receivers, trips and twins. Tight end motioning from right to left. A throw to that tight end, pass caught down at the 28. That will not be a 1st down, I don't believe, as they'll spot number 87. I think that's the backup tight end, if I'm not mistaken. Lawrence Plummer. He's down at the 28-yard line for no gain, and Plummer is hurt. So here comes a huge 4th down for the Viking defense, 4th and 3 for PC.
Anthony Russell jumped that play very nicely that time. If I'm the offense coordinator for PC now, I see that, hey, they're getting aggressive when we show that action. Now it's time for me to fake that one and go over the top. Safeties need to be aware of that.
Here comes 4th down and 3 for Presentation College. from the Viking 28. Evitt play action, rolling and looking. He's got a man open, and this route is jumped, and it's nearly taken away. Martin Jones, who had a fumble recovery taken away for a touchdown, had that in his hands and dropped it. However, not a bad decision. I'd rather have it at the 28th than the 11th.
Hey, Martin, I can tell right now he's like, I did that on purpose.
Sure he can.
I did that on purpose.
Of course he did.
He'd already ran 98 yards for a touchdown that got called back. So
in the very short period of time that ball was in the air, Martin Jones is able to read down in distance, look at the scoreboard, understand point of the game, and field position, and decided I'm going to put two hands on it, try to catch it, and then drop it intentionally.
Yep, good job, Martin.
First
savvy play.
First and 10 Vikings from their own 28. They continue to lead 14-10 on the LaRue Lockout Financial scoreboard. Straight ahead running for Taylor Simmons. He'll pop off the right guard, and he goes to the 35, and Simmons is a bit shaken up on the end of the play after a gain of 7, and he's slow to get up. Simmons will have 37 yards rushing today, and they're going to ask for the trainers to come out and tend to Taylor Simmons with 47 seconds left of the third quarter. So the training staff will come out. Let's see what happens here. He's going to get up. He's going to go off, and he's going to jog off under his own power.
Air.
Think so?
I think he
just
got
had the air knocked out of him.
Yep, landed on the football a little awkwardly. Yep.
He comes over to the sideline, and he'll try to get his breath back. They'll continue to tend to him, but a 7-yard pickup for Taylor Simmons. And really, it seems like the first manageable second down that the Vikings have had in the entire second half today. 3 receivers, twins to the left. Noah Chambers out of the shotgun on 2nd and 3. Chambers faking the throw, decides to run, breaking tackles, sliding forward. He'll move himself to the 38, and that'll be a Dairy Queen first down for the Vikings. It'll be a pickup of around 4 yards. The Viking coaching staff unhappy. They thought Chambers was hit a bit late. They'll spot the ball just ahead of the 38-yard line.
It looks like Simmons on the sideline incorrectly diagnosed by trainer Anderson up in the booth. It looks like it's probably a stinger.
Right now he's trying to get, looks like some feeling back in his arm.
Yes.
Yeah, right now kind of working on his left shoulder. First and 10 for the Vikings, just ahead of their own 38, probably the final snap of the third quarter. Chambers giving away to Justice Bice, sliding to his left on a little shuffle step, and he cuts up to around the 42 for a gain of 3, and that's how the third quarter is going to come to an end. Boy, it's hard to imagine that after that third quarter, the Vikings come out of here.
Hey college students, are you looking for a part-time job that works around your schedule, pays well, and gives you free money for college every year? McDonald's offers all of it. We can work around your schedule, and we give $2,500 scholarships to everyone who works for 3 months and averages 15 hours per week. That's 2 full shifts a week or 3 shifts of 5 hours. It's that easy. We've already given out more than $75,000 to students in North Dakota this year. Let us help you become the next scholarship recipient. Come join our team. Text ND29 to 38000 to apply today.
Center has gifts galore.
You live life on the move. While you determine what direction that may be, we're here to help along the way. So go. Go with values. Go with friends. Go with support. Go with convenience.
Vikings play against Mayville State, but again, a reminder to you, the game has been moved to the Fargo Dome next week. It'll be a 1 o'clock kickoff. We'll have the game broadcast for you from the Fargo Dome coming up next week to wrap up another season of Viking football. 2nd down and 7. The Vikings leading 14-10 over Presentation College as we start the fourth quarter. Chambers giving to Bice. Bice getting low, and Bice not getting very far. Maybe the line of scrimmage, and that'll be it. Traden Davis-Reed with another tackle. And here comes 3rd and 7 for Valley City State. Another long 3rd down situation. I feel like it's imperative for the Vikings to put some points on the board. It feels like little chance that the defense is going to be able to last that long to hold on to a 14-10 lead. So the Vikings have got to come up with a big play somewhere along the stretch here. Let's see if it's here. Trips and twins. Trips to the right, twins to the left for Noah Chambers on 3rd down and 7 for the Vikings. A high snap. Chambers has it. He's pressured. He lost the football. It's picked up. It'll be advanced by one of the offensive linemen, Jacob Romero, and Romero is able to spin himself ahead for a gain of 1 on that play. It's 4th down and 6. The offensive line has had some breakdowns, and we've seen more pressure on Noah Chambers here in the second half than back in the first half.
Yeah, and that time he just didn't have any opportunity as our friend Braxton Bates just came around the corner, and really Noah had no other opportunity there than to, try to protect the ball.
And so now Masila Siwa comes onto the field to punt for the Vikings. Kick is away. Line drive, wobbler, far side of the field, pro-Viking roll. This will go inside the 10. It'll go down to around the 8-yard line, and Presentation College will take over at the 8. 13:31 to play. The Vikings leading 14-10. We talked about field position on a punt being a big deal earlier for Presentation College. Maybe this is the chase now for it to be a big deal for the Vikings.
Yes, we're sitting there. Let's flip the field. Awkwardly today, punts into the wind have been better than those punts. But a lot of times, what people don't understand was when you do your drop with a punt with the wind, the ball will move more as you drop it off your hand to go to your foot than it will when you're going into the wind. There's
some science to it.
It's harder than
and
we
when
think.
you keep it low like that, you tend to get a pretty good roll on the end of it as well if you do it right. Tim Evett dropping back on first down, throws out of the flat, pass incomplete. The Vikings got a little pressure intended for Abdullahi Yusuf, and it ends up over his head. Second down and 10 for the Saints, their own 8. The Vikings leading 14-10 on the LaRue Lockout Financial scoreboard with 13 and a half to go in the football game.
Second down becomes a big down for our defense, just with Presentation not executing very well on third down. If we can keep them in a long third down here, it'll serve us better and be able to flip the field for us.
Second down and 10. Evett waiting for a shotgun snap, motions a tight end behind the formation, gives to Abdullahi Yusuf right into the middle of the field, and Yusuf dragging a pile with him out to around the 13. That's not a bad run for Abdullahi Yusuf. It's a gain of 5, and he was in some trouble almost immediately, but was able to drag the pile with him. Georgie Magnejo comes up with a stop. Here's 3rd and 5 for PC. And again, the Saints want to rush things. 3 receivers one side, 2 receivers the other side. Bridges and Nava are both in the game. Just a close circuit. Back to Mr. Hamry now. And here's 5 receivers for Presentation College on 3rd and 5. We'll see the shotgun snap again to Evett. He drops back, looks to throw underneath. Pass caught for a first down. This will be taken by Lawrence Plummer. Plummer drives himself out to the 23. It'll be a pickup of 10 yards for Lawrence Plummer and a first down coming up for Presentation College.
Well, I think after starting the game 1 for 9 now, they've been 2 for their last 2 on third downs, or 2 for their last 3, and have shown that they've found some things, some holes a little bit in our armor, so to speak.
1st and 10 for the Saints from their own 23. 4 receivers. Man in the backfield is DJ Costin. He gets the football, runs left, shedding tacklers, continues to the outside of the numbers. The 30, the 35. He's running out of bounds just shy of the 40-yard line. It'll be at the 38 officially. That's a 14-yard run for DJ Costin. And the Viking tackling really suspect during that run. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Saints.
Yeah, I think it's fatigue. We've been on the field most of the second half defensively.
1st and 10 for the Saints from their own 38. A drop back by Evett. A throw and a little comeback route looking for the screenplay to Cameron Shepard. The ball came out after the catch. We're waiting for a signal. And coming out of the pile is Magnejo, and he's got it. And the Vikings will force a turnover at the Saint 45-yard line. It was caught by Shepard. It came out very late. It goes on the field, and Georgia Magnejo will recover it for Valley City State, and the Vikings will take over at the 45 of Presentation. I don't know how many times the Viking defense can bail the Vikings out today, but Noah Chambers and this group have got to go down the field, stick one in the house, and put this thing away, CA.
Yeah, we need 10 yards that take a minute each time. Okay, let's take 4 minutes off the clock right here.
Absolutely. Clock to 11:58 to play 4th quarter. The Vikings force another turnover. They'll take over the Saint 45, leading 14-10. Simmons, right side looking, trying to tiptoe off of a wall. He's down for a short gain to around the 43. And a slow Viking to get up is Troy Dietz on the far side of the field. I have to think going into game 9 those little naggers throughout the year start to kind of pile up at this point, don't they, Corey?
They do, and I think we have a size advantage on presentation up front, but they've really played things very well with their technique, and we haven't been able to maintain our blocks on the point of attack.
2nd down and 8 for the Vikings. 4 receivers, 3 left. Dropping back, Chambers looking to throw, has time over the middle, pass incomplete. He had targeted Ferris Amegankwe. Good coverage over the middle that time by Anthony Lawson. He steps in front and knocks that football away. So another big 3rd down coming up for the Vikings here. 3rd down and 8, with the Vikings holding on to a 4-point lead, 11-18 to go in the 4th quarter.
Pass was behind Ferris just a little bit. Tight window that time. We're asking him to make a pretty tight throw in that situation, and just needed a lot of things to go right for us that time.
3rd down and 8 for Valley City State. 4 receivers. Twins go each direction. Chambers with Simmons in the backfield out of the pistol. Chambers waiting for the snap. He's got it. He drops back, looks to throw. Good time. Now steps in the pocket. Thought about running. Now widens his stance. Throws over the middle. Pass caught by Jacob Gottenberg. A 1st down and more outside the numbers of the 30. And he's down to around the 26-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 18 yards on the play for Jacob Gottenberg, and a 1st down for Valley City State on a well-played down by Noah Chambers.
Great job by Chambers. I think he runs there. He gets 5 or 6 yards, but he probably doesn't get the 1st down. Do we go for it on 4th down? Likely. But he stayed behind the line of scrimmage and saw Gottenberg open and delivered a nice strike.
1st and 10 for the Vikings at the St. 26. Clock down under 11 minutes to play now in the 4th quarter. 4 receivers, Twins going each way. Chambers pointing out spots on the field to his right. Takes a snap, looks back left, now wants to run. Big hole right side. He explodes down the field to the 10. Looking for a block. He's down to the 11-yard line. He had a block downfield to the 10. Decided to widen it out to the right. Got caught at the 12. But a nice run for Chambers of 14 yards. And it's a 1st and 10. A Dairy Queen 1st down for the Vikings.
We're not down on the field. I don't see what Noah saw coming from the inside. But you really prefer to always run off the backside of your blocks. And that time he ran to the front side of where Gottenberg was executing his block. Luckily, we didn't get called for holding on the perimeter because that's sometimes what happens there.
1st down and 10 from the St. 12 for the Vikings after another St. turnover. The Vikings trying to make the Saints pay. Chambers, left side, found a window, scoots forward inside the 10, and he'll plunge down to the 6-yard line for a gain of about 6 yards on the play. Braxton Bates, another stop, and it's 2nd down and goal for the Vikings. And Braxton Bates is wearing a different helmet. I just noticed this. He's got gold in the back of his helmet. Nobody else does. Did you notice that? I hadn't seen that till now. I thought he came out of his helmet.
No, I think I had they have some stickers, I think, that they put on back there, and I think he's probably one that earns a lot every week.
Fair enough. 2nd down and 4 for the Vikings. Twin receivers to the right. Shotgun snap coming up from the 6. The tight ends will motion both directions. Shotgun snap. Chambers gives to Bice. Big hole. Bice driving his way down to the 1-yard line. The Vikings thought he got in. The Saints thought they turned the Vikings over at the 1-yard line. The call is that Justice Bice is down at the 1, and it will be 1st and goal for Valley City State. Boy, oh boy. There's a lot of things going on in that play, and the Saints are frustrated. They thought Bice put it on the ground. Instead, Justice Bice, he was able to pick up 7 yards on the play. 26 yards on the day now for Bice. And can the Vikings put this in the end zone to take that 2-score lead back with 9 minutes to play in the 4th quarter? 1st and goal inside the presentation 1. Chambers turn, Bice left side, stacked towards the 1 and down for no gain on the play. Again, taken out on the play by Trayden Davis-Reed. And so the Vikings will look at 2nd down and goal from the 1.
If we eventually score here, whether it's on 3rd down or whatever, we're using clock.
Yep.
I'm okay. We'd asked for a 4-minute drive.
Pretty close to it.
38 seconds away from it. So I'm okay with that situation as long as we can execute here.
But we need a major. A field goal doesn't do it. That makes it a 1-score game. We've got to get beyond the goal line on 2nd down and goal from the 1. Chambers under center. Bice again. Vaults his way towards the end zone, but is down before the ball got across the goal line. He spun around 180, actually 360, well, maybe 270 in the air. And the ball came down behind his feet. His feet were in the end zone. The ball was behind him. So here comes 3rd down and goal from the 1 for the Vikings.
Let's use our clock. 20 seconds. Really surprised we didn't just sneak in that situation.
Right? Well, maybe they're thinking what you're thinking, Corey. Go ahead and come after Bice all day. Now we'll see what we do on third down and goal, but high risk, high reward here. Chambers under center, play action. Chambers rolling, looking, throwing, end zone incomplete. And here comes fourth down. Pass was intended to Trent Finney, and Chambers took a hit on the end of that play. So we'll see the clock come to a halt as Noah Chambers is down. He's going to find his way back up to his footing and appears to be okay, just a little dazed on the play, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to take the next snap. And that would mean that Avery Thorsgaard wandered out onto the field. I don't know if he's cleared to play at this point, but it looks like he may be. The original starting quarterback for the Vikings was thinking about going on the field for the next snap. And they've got a hold of Noah Chambers' throwing arm here.
And I'd like to see Noah, let's keep him on the field here so we can decide what we want to do with our next play. Going forward, I think, is the call here that we need to do, just because they would have to go 99 yards.
Yep. Avery Thorsgaard comes back into the game. Quarterback sneak. He drives his way to the goal line. We're waiting for a signal. It's a touchdown for the Vikings. Avery Thorsgaard, lost in week number 2 of the season, comes back into the game after an injury to Noah Chambers, and Thorsgaard gets driven into the end zone by his offensive line. That's going to feel very good for the sophomore out of Hatton Northwood, and it'll be a touchdown for the Vikings to take the lead to 20-10.
And he got the snap. You know, I mean, it's something we don't think about. He didn't take any snaps on the sideline there. We don't take a lot of snaps under center. He received the snap, did what he needed to do. Good job, Avery.
Rodrigo Castaneda set to go for the extra point. In the meantime, Trayden Davis-Reed got an early start of the track season by completely hurdling Vance Dumas on the far side of the field. They're going to call Davis-Reed offside. Listen, Vance Dumas is a big guy. You can't hurdle him very easily, and Davis-Reed hurdled him like it was nothing. So Rodrigo Castaneda looking to make this a 21-10 game for the Vikings with 7:31 to play in the fourth quarter. The Vikings leading 20-10 after the 1-yard touchdown plunge by Avery Thorsgaard. Snap is a bad snap on the ground, but it was picked up nicely by Eric Peterson. Castaneda is able to knock it through. Not a lot went right on that play except for the hold and the kick by Castaneda, but nonetheless the Vikings reclaim an 11-point lead with 7:31 to play in the fourth quarter on the LaRue Lockout Financial scoreboard. The Vikings 21, Presentation College 10. This is Viking football on the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
This is Viking football on KOVC, the voice of the Valley.
This is Hannah Wieland, a freshman at Valley City State University. The V500 scholarship members' generosity and commitment is exactly the kind of community involvement we need to keep VCSU going strong. The many scholarships provided are a testament to the support of the alumni, family, and friends of VCSU. Please keep expanding the opportunities available to enhance the lives of the next generation and make a difference for attracting future Vikings by supporting scholarships online at give.vcsu.edu or by calling the VCSU Foundation.
Now back to Viking football on the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
Well, during the timeout, we've continued to monitor Noah Chambers, and it may be Avery Thorsgaard's game for the rest of the day here as they're taking a look at Chambers' neck, it would appear. In the meantime, we'll see the kick from Masila Siwa for the Vikings as the Vikings lead 21-10. Kickoff return coming from Billy Nelson for Presentation. He tries the middle and then broke outside. And a flag comes down in the middle of the field as Nelson continues to dance his way across midfield. He's brought down to the Viking 47, but a flag was thrown by an official from about the Viking 47 all the way back to the PC 26. And so we'll see if there was a holding penalty in that sequence against the Saints that will negate this return. Trainers are still looking at Noah Chambers. They're asking him to make some fists with his hands to see if he's got strength. It would appear in his right hand, his left hand. And we'll see what happens here with this. It'll be a holding penalty against Presentation College. So this is going to come back to around the 16, but Chambers obviously shaken up. We'll continue to check with him. Is that a cognitive deal that they're doing right now?
Yeah. They, I think they've already given the he's done until we tell you he could go back in.
Okay.
Danica, our assistant trainer down there, is really good. Having the chance to see her work in the past, we are very fortunate with our training staff that we have, and they're going to be thorough with obviously their analysis here. And it looks like Thorsgaard is getting loose for his our next drive.
Wow, Avery Thorsgaard coming back. We'll talk about that as we go. Tim Evatt for the Saints out of the shotgun on first down. He throws out of the backfield. Cameron Shepard makes a catch. The 15 near the 20, tiptoes out of bounds at around the 21-yard line. That'll be a gain of about 5 for Cameron Shepard. So Avery Thorsgaard lost in the second game of the year. I obviously wasn't here at that point, so didn't see the injury, but apparently is ready to play today, and that's a nice sign for the Vikings.
It is. It's just probably a little bit of a labrum injury is what he went through, and getting the strength back in that as a quarterback is obviously something that's really important.
So a 5-yard pickup on that throw to Shepard, and it'll be second down and 5 coming up for the Saints. They'll give on a stretch play to the left side for Abdullahi Youssef. He got loose, 30-35, spins his way down to the 40-yard line before he's brought down by Micah Jones for the Vikings. But another big hole in a 20-yard pickup, 21-yard pickup to the 41 officially. That'll be first and 10 for the Saints.
The Viking offense did the job. They gave defense a 5-minute break on that last drive. Now we need to stand up and shut this down.
Evatt throwing to Shepard. Shepard hit right at the point of attack, and he will get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. A little bit of throw to the far side. Ashton Rakino was there. Some help coming up as well from Colton Taylor. Second and 10 for the Saints at the 41. We'll see 4 receivers again. Twins going each way. And waiting again is Tim Evatt for the Saints. On second down and 10, the Vikings leading 21-10 with 6:05 to go. Evatt bobbles the snap but throws near side, and Youssef gets crushed. He is hit hard and down at the 42-yard line. Anthony Russell and Jahidi West come in on Abdullahi Youssef and make him pay for catching that football. And they're going to ask for the training staff to come over from Presentation College after a gain of a yard for Abdullahi Youssef. You could see that coming too. Youssef was out on an island all by himself, caught that ball. It's hard to see what they're talking about with him here. Looks like he's holding at his right leg. They're going to start looking through his right knee. So the training staff will take a look at him from the Presentation side. And a third down and 9 coming up for the Saints with 5:57 to go. And they'll look at it as a must-have if they don't pick it up and have to give the football back to the Vikings. Valley City State with a 2-score lead. They'd get it back with about 5.5 minutes left, and the math really in their favor at that point.
Absolutely. And a good sign here. Yep, he hopped up. Not looking like he wants to go to the dance tonight yet, but...
Yeah, he's walking off under his own power. His right leg is hampered. But, yeah, he jumped up aggressively and then realized he didn't quite have the get up and go that he thought he had going off the field. So, Abdullahi Youssef will go out of the game after that yard pickup. And here's a big, big, big third down for Valley City State. Third down and 9 for the defense, that is. Presentation College with the ball at their own 42. The Vikings up 21-10. Waiting for the snap, Tim Evatt out of the gun with 5 receivers. A late blitz by Jahidi West, and that forces an early throw. It's incomplete. Jahidi West waited, then found the hole and blitzed right through it. Turning and looking for a flag is Lawrence Plummer. He won't get it, and it's 4th and 9 for the Saints.
Yeah, Dustin Kosowski was up on the line of scrimmage, baiting, looking like he might come off the outside, so they would have to change their protection. He dropped back to get underneath the number 3 receiver. By no means was that interference at all. He did a really good job of getting underneath it and not allowing that pass to be completed.
Saints will show punt with 5:48 to play in a 2-score game. Maybe a bit surprising for me that they would choose to punt the football, but we'll see. As the punter comes into the game, that's Luis Ferreira. And the Vikings have a new man back to receive. This again is almost blocked, and it was shanked badly to the far side of the field. Ball will roll down to the Viking 41. It was Micah Olson that was back to return the punt, but he'll have no chance to do so. And so the Vikings from the 41-yard line with 5:38 to play will have it with a football and the lead of 21-10. The Saints have all 3 timeouts left to use. Do you use them on this possession? I mean, you might have to use a couple of them in some case.
I think you have to. I mean, and we'll see what the Vikings indicate they want to do. Now, you have a new quarterback in the game. Not like he's inexperienced, but, we're going to see what direction we want to go. Is his labrum okay? Do we stay with more running back run game than quarterback run game? We'll see.
Avery Thorsgaard back into the game for the Vikings after the injury to Noah Chambers on the last possession. Thorsgaard got into the end zone from a yard out. He wants to run on first down behind a wall of blockers, juking and jiving, but back to the line of scrimmage and no more. Another big play defensively out on that far side for the Saints, Braxton Bates. Short gain, 2nd down and 9 coming up here for Avery Thorsgaard.
And that's an important play. He exercised the demon because it was on that part of the field where he got hurt against Concordia. And so we got that out of the way now, and he should be settled in, got that first hit out of the way, and should be ready to go.
I'm very familiar with Avery Thorsgaard. He was multi-sport athlete for Hatton Northwood. I got to know him as a baseball player, good pitcher, good catcher, really good kid to talk to and work with. He was great for you if you were an umpire. 2nd down and 9, Justice Bice right side. Found a hole, breaking tackles, churning forward. The line pushes him forward. Strip drill is on. That won't work. He'll get right to the yards to gain at the PC 49. It's going to be 3rd down and inches for Valley City State. Are they saying move the chains? It looks like they are. The Vikings are going to pick up a Dairy Queen first down on a 9-yard run by Justice Bice.
And now we're in what we call 4-minute offense. What does 4-minute offense mean? We're not going to snap the ball until 5 seconds or less are on the play clock. If we have a run or a catch that would happen to be near the perimeter, you do not go out of bounds. You slide down, you stay in bounds, you keep the clock running. 1st and 10 for the Vikings at Presentations 49. The Saints not making an effort to use the timeout so far. Justice Bice in the middle, working right side, hit down at the 48. Maybe a gain of a yard on that play. They've been keying on Justice Bice really all day today. And Blake Patton, one of the defensive backs, comes up with a stop. It'll be 2nd down and 9, and now Justice Bice, who was ailing a little bit a while ago on the Vikings sideline, is going to come on as well. Taylor Simmons will come in to replace him. Yeah, it just don't look like Justice has been hitting the hole as hard. I think with Taylor, when we've done our quick hitting game, he's gotten downhill a little bit faster today, and Justice looks like he's just not gotten behind his pads as well.
2nd down and 9 for the Vikings from the 48 to Presentation College. Thorsgaard his own number. No, he gave to Taylor Simmons. He made that look good. Simmons driving his way across the 45, got to the 44, then driven back. Be a pickup of around 4 yards for for Taylor Simmons, but you can see why that's effective because Avery Thorsgaard had all day to run if he keeps that football, and you can see why these guys really are good together running the football in the backfield.
Yeah, and I like those types of plays with Taylor Simmons. I think he is a kid that can exploit the outside. We're going to snap this ball. It's going to be underneath 3 minutes in the game, and so I think we'll really play things safe. I wouldn't be surprised to see Coach McCall call a timeout here as our clock winds down.
I'm surprised Presentation College didn't use one of their 3 timeouts after that play. I really am. You need 2 scores, 2:45 to go. I don't know what you're waiting for.
Have they not watched our game film?
Well,
I mean, we've had some crazy things happen in a matter of 22 seconds against us this year, right? So I agree with you, right? If you watch that film, you're like, holy cow, you had Dakota State, and all of a sudden 22 seconds later, you don't have them.
Right, yeah. And not only that, but just the math of the situation of knowing that you have to get 2 scores. You want to save yourself a little bit of time, and, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, you bring your field goal into play. So, I mean, there was a lot of time that ran off the clock there, and it's 3rd down. Now, 2nd down, different deal, right?
Yep.
But, I've always kind of looked at it. This came up in the game that I did last night as well between Red River and Jamestown. But you're down 2 scores, and you've got all 3 of your timeouts left. The other team has the football. I guess I see it as a 1 and 2, right? You're going to use 2 timeouts on one possession and 1 on the other, but you don't know which.
Mm-hmm.
This is a perfect recipe to use 1 and get out of here.
Yep.
And they didn't do that. So now 3rd down and 6. The Vikings use a timeout to put their game call together. Avery Thorsgaard out of the shotgun. The Vikings lead it 21-10 on the LaRue Lockout Financial scoreboard. 4 receivers. Single coverage near side of the field with Dominic Sotomayor, and he'll be pressed. Thorsgaard taking the snap, dropping back, screen pass incomplete.
Oh.
Looking for Justice Bice.
So well set up. So well set up.
But a little bit of pressure that forced it all the way.
Yep, a little bit of pressure, but really, really set up well. Yeah.
And now not taking the timeout for the Saints works in their favor. I'm surprised the Vikings decided to throw the football because now the Saints get a clock stoppage for free.
Yeah, you know, it's hard. And as an offense coordinator, I mean, the play was perfect. And that's the dagger. That's the dagger play.
Mm-hmm. So 4th and 6. Justice Bice is on the field to take the punt snap. He went hard count. The Vikings may use another timeout or take the delay of game penalty. I believe they've chosen to take the delay of game penalty. So this ball will go back to the 49, and now it would appear the Viking punt unit will come in. So the Vikings rolled with that hard count. Not exactly Reno, but something similar, right? And Brian Yanish, our white hat, left his field mic on and blew the whistle. It happens once every other game. It's never less painful than it was the last time. Masila Siwa will kick the football for the Vikings with a snap coming from the Saint 49. Low snap, but he's got it. Kicks blocked. It's on the ground and loose, and this will be recovered by the Saints at the Viking 43. And this thing's not over yet. The Saints will get it at the Viking 43-yard line, down 21-10 with 2:35 to go, and the defense is going to have to come on the field and work their magic one more time. Boy, oh boy. And you were just talking about it, Corey. A lot of crazy things can happen in 22 seconds, right? That's part of it.
Yeah, you know, we've just had so many things like that happen this year, and sometimes you can't eliminate it from your mind. Some years go like this.
Sure.
I've been part of them.
And it goes all year no matter what you do, right?
It's Coach Murphy. It's that Murphy law. We got to get him fired from the staff.
Tim Evatt out of the shotgun with 4 receivers, 3 to the right on 1st down and 10 for the Saints from the Viking 43, 21-10 Vikings. Throw right side, Plummer slips a tackle at the 40, down the sideline, stepped on the boundary as he got to around the 33. It's going to be enough for a 1st down, a pickup of 11 yards for Lawrence Plummer on the far side of the field. He's got 30 on 3 catches today. Clock will stop with 2:27 left to go, or it will not actually. They're asking for the clock to run. Saints all 3 timeouts. They're going to take a shot here because they'd love to get a quick score and give themselves a chance with those timeouts to come back. And now they may have called one. I can't guess right at all today, Corey, if they called a timeout with 2:12 left to go.
Since we have a little pause here, I'm going to say, too, just to clarify, we don't have a Coach Murphy on the Viking staff.
No.
It's Murphy's
It's
law.
Murphy's Law, yes. And if you're not familiar with Murphy's Law reads anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So what Corey Anderson did was embody in the form of a fictional person and then said we need that person fired. More on that in a moment. 1st and 10 from the Viking 33 for Presentation College. Throw underneath for Shepard. That pass is incomplete. Good coverage on the far side by Blake King. The last thing we would do would obviously lobby for the actual firing of a physical coach on the Viking coaching staff during a Viking game.
Sometimes we have to just make light of the things that have happened because otherwise we cry, right?
But in this day of political correctness and people not hearing things perhaps the right way, it's worth clarifying that there is in fact no Coach Murphy on the Viking coaching staff. 2nd down and 10, 5 receivers, trips and twins, dropping back. Evatt looking left side, throws in the seam again, pass caught, and that's caught by Marineo Nava, and Nava will make the catch at the Viking 18. It's a 1st down for Presentation College with 1:52 left to go in the game. The Vikings leading 21-10 on the LaRue Lockout Financial scoreboard. Presentation College taking over at the inside Viking territory, and now another set of whistles.
Well, I've never seen this before.
Did the Vikings call timeout?
We I think, had too many players on the field, so one of our extra players exited to the opposite sideline.
Can you do that? Is that legal?
I don't know because I've never seen it before.
Okay. So
I mean, you were off the field to play. I'm not quite
Right.
sure if you have to exit to your own sideline.
So what 29 is talking about here is the Presentation College Saints sideline is on the other side of the field. The Vikings had 12 men on the field, which is illegal. So we needed to get one off, and one of them ran off on the Presentation College sideline.
Because he's only 20 yards from that sideline. He wasn't getting to our sideline.
But they still blew the clock dead. I don't know why. Somebody must have taken a timeout.
I think we did because we only have one left.
Yeah, the Vikings took a timeout to prevent the penalty. So now it's Saint football, the Viking 18, 21-10 Valley City State, 1:52 left to go of the fourth quarter. Tim Evatt out of the shotgun. 3 receivers, Evatt play action, looking middle, throws, and it's picked off by Blake King. King on the return, slips a couple of tackles, looking to get loose. He's dragged down from behind, and the Vikings will have the football at the 9-yard line. They could have called horse collar tackle on the end of that play as well, but in the end, Blake King comes up with a takeaway for Valley City State that very likely will end the football game today.
Great job by a senior at his last game at home. I certainly, I'm encouraging him as that play happened to go down, and now he's holding the shoulder.
There's a flag down as well. He was dragged down. Blake King was dragged down by the collar, and I thought that tackle met every requirement of a horse collar tackle, but I think that's going to be a holding penalty against the Vikings. Now they're going to call in sportsmanlike conduct against the Vikings, so the ball is going to go back to the 4-yard line. So 1st and 10 for the Vikings from their own 4. Well, Corey, I remember one of your phrases way back in the day. I know you know which one I'm going to talk about. You told me you always appreciate the ugly wins because there's no such thing as a beautiful loss. And if we win this game today, it will fit that bill entirely. Will it not?
Yep. There's only 2 columns, W and L.
Avery Thorsgaard out of the shotgun. 3 receivers. 1st and 10 for the Vikings from their own 4. 1:41 left to go of the game. The Vikings up 21-10. Thorsgaard the snap, looking to call his own number. Behind the line, great burst of speed. Taken down by the face mask. He'll cross the 10, got out to the 12 for a gain of about 8 yards. And now Presentation College will take a timeout with 1:32 to go. And not to belabor the point, but if you're going to take the timeouts here with a minute and a half to go down 2 scores, why not, when there were 3.5 minutes to go and you had forced a 3rd down, take 1?
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of that today.
They might know things that we don't know. Maybe there's a new generation of how you
sabermetrics.
Yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah. I don't know. Until it's explained, I guess we just have to believe that possibly they're right and we're wrong.
Okay.
As hard as that might be for either one of us to admit. They do work with it every day. They may see it. They may know what those numbers are. They may study it.
Part of sabermetrics is tendencies. The other part is just pure math. And so, I don't know.
I'm an eyeball test guy.
Yeah, there you go. 2nd down and 3. Avery Thorsgaard out of the shotgun for the Vikings. Noah Chambers coming out with injury. Avery Thorsgaard stepping back in after being lost in week 2 due to injury. He'll hand the football, I believe, to Justice Bice for maybe a loss of a yard. And here comes 3rd down and 4, and another timeout taken by Presentation College. And if you're the Vikings here, you still have to punt the football. That's the thing, right? If you don't pick up this 1st down, you still have to punt the football, and you're way back in your own end. I guess I wouldn't be totally surprised to see him throw it just because they'd much rather pick up the 1st down than mess around with a punt, even though the numbers are in their favor in a 2-score game like this.
And I'm going to implore you to change your thoughts here and say, okay, what are we running to convert this 1st down? Should we do the read option, really sell it, let Avery, maybe pull somebody with him, let him pick up the 1st down? Then if we don't, then are we at a point where we just take the safety on the punt?
It's an interesting thought.
Okay,
You could free kick
then
that
you
from the
still
20.
make it a 2-score game because it becomes 21-12.
Right. There's
versus,
still only 125
versus they
left.
just punted. We just got our last punt blocked.
Right.
If they recover that, it's a touchdown, and now it's so we will take a safety here.
That is not a terrible play call at all. 3rd down and 3 for the Vikings. The Saints take another timeout. I believe they have just one left. The board has them with 2 timeouts remaining, but I believe they've used 2 here in this sequence. Thorsgaard waiting for the snap. It's high. He's got it. He's going to call his own number. Running sweep near side of the field. He's going to slide ahead at the 13-yard line, 17-yard line, and that's going to be enough for a first down for Valley City State. And all the taking of safeties and all that talk, no longer necessary. Vikings going to run this one out.
What did we say he should do before that safety, though?
Sell it.
Sell it.
Yep.
Keep it. Run the read option. Get
Right.
the first down.
Yep.
See? It's changing your thoughts. It's putting it out there to the universe, and what happens?
I don't know. You'd had a hard time. Of course, Avery puts in a little different skill set. You can see that Avery's first and second steps are faster than Noah Chambers. He's a different kind of runner. He's much more elusive. So he gives you some opportunities in that sequence that maybe you don't have. And you've been playing the whole game the other way.
Yeah, one's more shake and bake, and one's more explosive initially.
Sure.
And they complement each other. But we had saw that the previous drive where that read option keep on his part was open, and that's why I thought, hey, that's what we should go to.
Well, now the Vikings are going to go into the victory formation. The Saints are out of timeouts. They take their last one. And so Avery Thorsgaard ready to take a shotgun snap. He's going to take a knee, and that clock's going to get rolling.
It's the one thing I won't understand.
The shotgun knee instead of under center knee?
That dang near hit him in the kneecaps.
Yeah.
Only bad things can happen. So, anyway.
One more of these knees to take, I think. The gap is 36 seconds between play clock and game clock hitting 0. And so the Vikings will take one more. And then they'll move to 4 and 5. And it's on to the Fargo Dome next weekend to try to finish with a 500 season against Mayville State and beat the rivals.
Absolutely.
And go to 4 and 2 in the league.
Absolutely.
You dialed up your best shot at Dickinson State. You had some unfortunate things happen with the freshman quarterback against Dakota State, but you're going to finish somewhere in a tie for second place in the conference this year. Some good returners coming back next year, and you try to build for the future next week against the Comets.
Absolutely, and hopefully learn from the things that we had 2 scores taken off the board today.
Right. Yeah, there are a couple of penalties there. A fumble return and the touchdown by Sotomayor. Yeah.
35-10 feels a lot different than 21-10 and kind of escaping, being thankful that they didn't score at the end here.
But how about that defense creating turnovers today? They did that. I think there were 4 turnovers by Presentation College, and they gave the Vikings a large room for error with a couple of things that went against them today.
Hey college students, are you looking for a part-time job that works around your schedule, pays well, and gives you free money for college every year? McDonald's offers all of it. We can work around your schedule, and we give $2,500 scholarships to everyone who works for 3 months and averages 15 hours per week. That's 2 full shifts a week or 3 shifts of 5 hours. It's that easy. We've already given out more than $75,000 to students in North Dakota this year. Let us help you become the next scholarship recipient. Come join our team. Text ND29 to 38000 to apply today.
Valley City State, Presentation College 10. The win will push the Vikings to 3-2 in the league, 4 and 5 overall. The Saints are going to drop to a 3-6 overall, and they will drop to 2 and 3 in the North Star Athletic Association. We'll come back with your post-game report. We'll take a look at the final numbers in this one, catch a word from Dennis McCulloch, the head coach of the Vikings, and wrap up our home season here at Locken Stadium. This is Viking football on KOVC, the voice of the Valley.
This is Viking football on KOVC, the voice of the Valley.
Are you on the right financial path? Are all your financial professionals on the same page? At LaRue Lockout Financial, you can be assured that your investment professional and tax professional are working together. Call Ryan LaRue at 701-845-6938 or James M. Lockout, CPA, at 845-1660. Services offered through Investment Advisors, a division of Pro Equities Incorporated, a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Pro Equities Incorporated, a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA and SIPC.
Fall is here, and that means tailgating, hunting, and harvest season. Make sure you include quality meats and snacks from Valley Meat Supply. Ready for some football? Valley Meat has all your favorites for the grill. Thick, juicy steaks, burger patties, brats, and all beef wieners. Valley Meat Supply also has you covered during the hunting and harvest season with sandwich meats and a variety of cheeses, beef sticks, and jerky. No matter what field you're on, you're number one with Valley Meat Supply, West Main, Valley City.
Ivy Real Estate Group, your locally owned real estate brokerage, is cheering for the home team. Listen to KOVC for the Ivy Real Estate Group Player of the Game following every Valley City Highliner and VCSU Vikings game.
Don't leave your wiring to chance. Plug into your number one electrical source, Highline Electric. They're the experts in residential, commercial, and industrial electrical work. No cutting corners at Highline Electric. Call 845-0731. They'll give you a free estimate before any work is done. Family owned since 1986 with Chad and Tracy Zahn. And I promise,
The price won't shock you.
Highline Electric in Valley City. Call 845-0731. Building a reputation of integrity and quality.
No matter where you live, you should have access to high-quality health care. Jamestown Regional Medical Center's orthopedic and sports medicine team offers care for hips, shoulders, knees, and toes. When an injury occurs, teams need care quickly. That's why the JRMC orthopedic team promises same-day and next-day appointments. Schedule direct at jrmcnd.com or call 952-4878.
Jamestown Regional Medical Center will never stop building for you.
Now back to Viking football on the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
With Corey Anderson, Ryan Cunningham today from Locken Stadium in Shelley Ellick Field. The Vikings with their fourth win of the season as they knock off Presentation College today by a final score of 21-10. It was a very interesting game for a lot of different reasons today. The Vikings end up forcing a handful of turnovers against Presentation College today as the Vikings will force a fumble. They will have 3 interceptions go their way as well. And again, as Corey alluded to in the wrap-up, this could look a lot different. A touchdown return on a fumble recovery, 99 yards for Martin Jones, called back on a clipping penalty. A throw to Sotomayor into the end zone. Dominic Sotomayor with a couple of great catches back-to-back, called back on a holding penalty. So it could be 35-10. Nonetheless, the Vikings in some peril. One really solid drive by Presentation College reset the apple cart on this thing in a hurry. But that Viking defense stood up, and it was really good to see Avery Thorsgaard get back onto the field today after Noah Chambers had to go out of the game.
Yeah, it was great, and he did a great job also on that last run of what we alluded to in a 4-minute offense. You get down before you go out of bounds. He slid down to keep the clock moving. That 99-yard return, even though we didn't get the score on our side, changed and kind of quelled the momentum a little bit. Because it goes from being a 14-10 game, they are on the doorsteps to make it 17-14.
Right.
They're going to be ahead.
Yes.
And so we talk about our 2 that we had to take off the board. That's one that they're going to look at as a momentum swinger on their side. And so there was a lot of give and take in this game. And I thought our defense played great the first half. And the second half, our offense just – we couldn't sustain drives, and our defense stays on the field, and we give up 200 yards passing in the second half. I don't think either one of us at halftime saw that coming.
No, not at all. Yeah, and they found something that they could work with in the flats and the screen game. It seemed like, credit to the Presentation coaching staff, they seemed to find a way to take advantage of what the Vikings do really well, which is pursue the quarterback. They just sort of must have felt like that second level really widened out with the pursuit that was coming up the field from the defensive line. They felt like they had some gaps there, and that's where everything went. They didn't throw the ball downfield at all in the second half. They didn't stretch the field that way. All they really did throughout that second half was throw underneath and get yards after catch running with the football, and that was the difference, though. I mean, and that's how they got their touchdown on the board, and that's how they kept the Vikings at peril throughout the course of the second half.
Yeah, they did a nice job. They made the adjustment at halftime and saw what we were going to do and how we were going to play, and then it's our turn to adjust back in the fourth quarter. I think is how we probably did that. But that 5-minute drive by us offensively really, I think, allowed our defense to catch their breath and then come back out and make them have to travel a little bit longer down the field as well.
Let's take a look at the final numbers in this one. The Vikings win it 21-10. The Vikings will rush the football for 157 yards today, throw it for 113. They hold Presentation College to 33 yards rushing, but PC threw it for 276 yards this afternoon. And Tim Evatt gets them all. He was 31 of 49 for 276 yards and a touchdown today, but his long was 25. You know, normally when somebody comes off the field with 276 yards against you, there was a 48-yarder or a 52-yarder or something in there that really allowed them to bolster the totals. He did that with a long of 25 today. That shows you how robust running after the catch was for some pretty physical Presentation College receivers this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said, they blocked well on the perimeter. I think our pass rush forced them to change, what they wanted to do with their pass game. It was going to be out of his hand in a hurry. Otherwise, he wasn't going to make it through the game.
Sure.
And I think that audition between the two quarterbacks to start the game kind of said, okay, we're going to play the hot hand. And I do think that was the right decision on their part because I did think that he did a lot of things pretty well. And he got rid of the ball. He knew where the blitz was coming from when it was coming and hit the hot receiver in that spot. And they gashed us, not with big gashes, but lots of little body checks.
Absolutely. Yeah. And as far as the rest of the numbers today for Presentation College, Kevin Wright, 8 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. For the Vikings today, Noah Chambers, 19 carries for 74 yards. Taylor Simmons, 8 for 42. Noah Chambers was 11 of 25. For 113 yards and a touchdown today for Noah Chambers. And as far as catching the football, Dominic Sotomayor, he ends up with, I believe, 2 catches for 41 yards, and he had a good one taken away for would have been a touchdown on a holding penalty. That kind of hurts his total a little bit this afternoon. And then Avery Thorsgaard came in and had a touchdown run for Valley City State down the stretch and picks up 13 yards rushing and really limited time today. The Vikings win it by a final score of 21-10. We're joined in the post-game report by Dennis McCulloch, the head coach of the Vikings. And I don't know that we have enough time to really break this entire one down, do we, Coach? There's a lot to talk about out there.
No, there is a lot to talk about, and it's, told the guys it's an ugly win, but, I'm going to still take it. I'm not going to give it back to them. And we grounded out to figure out a way, right, to get the win. And so, a lot of pieces on the field that are frustrated. You're frustrated with as coach, just things that we shouldn't be happening for us right now. But, we found a way, and Presentation came and played awfully well. Like I'm impressed with what they've done. Where their season has went. They came in and played really good today, and did something I didn't. Again, I felt like coming into the game, we're gonna find a way to run the football and establish a run game, and do some of those things, but they found a way to slow us down and frustrate our offense, and you got to hand it to them.
Well, let's talk about maybe the brightest spot out there as far as what went well for the Vikings today, and that was picking the football off, right? 3 interceptions this afternoon, and it seemed like guys were aggressive. They were looking for the football today. They weren't just sort of right place, right time interceptions. They were making plays on the ball today, Coach.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I thought our defense, in the key spots, we found ways to make some plays, and Jahidi, he's made he's kind of made his career in finding a way to go get the ball and find the ball in the air, and made some great plays. Blake King, who's be graduating this year for us and senior, so it was a great way to finish his last game at Locken, and I was very pleased with how those guys played and the things that they did.
The effort by Presentation College to throw the ball underneath in the second half, it seemed like it took some time. You found some adjustments to it eventually, but it did keep you a little bit off balance, it seemed like, for the entire 30 minutes there.
They did a nice job of, we're trying to take, you try to play take away some of their deep routes and their throws, and they start throwing the piece underneath and catches some of that, and it makes you rally to come up and make tackles. And sometimes we miss those things, and probably if you look defensively, some of those missed tackles, those things that we were doing, created some issues. They got their screen game, going for them, and they never gave up on it, and we talked about it at halftime. When you're throwing screen game, you can't be gaining 10 yards on it. We're in trouble all day, and we created we did some good things. We stopped it a few times, and there's a few times that we didn't fit it very well, but again, overall, I thought the guys, found a way to figure it out, and again, probably a little bit of bend and break, and then we found a way to make a play.
Then finally, Coach, it's not very often that you lose a quarterback to injury in week 2 and you have a chance to run him back onto the field in week 9, and obviously, Noah, unfortunate that Noah's had a really, really good run for about 6 weeks now.
Yep.
But Avery goes back in the game, and tell me what he was like going back out there. Was he confident? Was he ready? What was it like sending him back out there today?
Yeah, I think Avery, he's a confident young man. He's confident himself and his abilities, and so I think he's excited. He was excited about the opportunity to go back out in a key game. I wish we could have finished the game up here in the screen. I didn't see it if he got tipped or he just underthrew the ball, but Avery's a competitor. Extremely competitive young man and wants to do things to be successful, and so I'm glad he got a chance to get out there and made a really nice play in the last, the quarterback keep here in the last play to get a first down and finish the game up for us.
The nature of Noah's injury, you know anything about what
I asked Noah after the game, and he felt like he's okay. He just got hit in the ribs there, and sore. He's going to be sore, but I think if he had to, he probably could have came back in.
Okay, all right. Well, on to Mayville next week. So
Yep.
First of all, we're at the Fargo Dome. We got to remind fans
Yep.
that we're going to be at the Fargo Dome. 1 o'clock kickoff to that one next week. And, you mentioned something in the pregame report today. You don't want to have a losing season, and so that's the difference between 5-5 and 4-6, and they do look very different, don't they, Coach?
They do, and I think our kids want to be on a positive note with this season, and we also know it's going to be a tough matchup. They have some good athletes offensively. They're wide receiver, running back is special. We'll find out if they get their quarterback back. If he gets back, they're going to be a challenge. They're a handful offensively. They've scored a lot of points against everybody, and so that'll be a challenge. And defensively, they just started playing straight man and a lot of blitz game and try to get you. So, it'll be a great Mayville Viking game. It just will be. I know they'll be up to play it, and it'll be good for us.
And it'll be a good way to end the season.
Absolutely,
against two good rivals, right?
Absolutely. Just for us, I think part of it, our guys go to play Mayville, and we went being excited playing out. It doesn't matter what the weather, you don't want it to play it. We just wouldn't have had probably the same kind of fan support. I think he may add a few more people coming into the dome inside, a little bit nicer weather for the fans at least. I think that'll be a positive, and we're excited about one more opportunity to play.
Arkansas plays the destination game, right?
Yeah.
Texas and Oklahoma, they play the destination
absolutely.
game. UND hockey's going all over the country to play the destination game.
Absolutely.
Let's play the destination game,
exactly.
right?
That's exactly right. Maybe we go a little bit farther to go south to play Mayville, maybe farther south.
Well, where's a good place? Where do we got a little
That's
enclave
right.
of Viking alumni to play in
That's
front
right.
of?
That'll be our foundation director to figure out that's a good spot for us. So.
Gal shoot. I'm thinking Sioux Falls is what I'm thinking. Let's go down to the heart of where everything's at.
I was thinking
right
farther
now.
south in November to go farther south.
Oh,
so,
I see what you're saying.
Get a little bit warm temperatures. So
there a good contingent in Lincoln, Nebraska? Go down there and play. It's right
absolutely.
along I-29.
Absolutely.
We can make that happen.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for the coverage.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations on the win this afternoon. Dennis McCulloch, the head coach of the Vikings, joining us in our post-game report today as the Vikings win it by a final score of 21-10 in a hard-fought matchup today. We've got a final break, Player of the Game award, and the wrap-up for a home season here at Lockett Stadium is coming up in just a couple of moments. Viking football continues next.
Rambo, a proud sponsor and fan of Viking Athletics, has been serving North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota with quality logoed apparel and promotional products since 1979. With online store options built to meet the needs of your company, organization, or team, Rambo will ensure that the process of ordering is easy and accurate and that your items are received on time. When you are ready to put your logo to work, give Matt a call at 701-680-9585. Rambo, we're in the business of making you look good.
This is Amy Heim, nurse practitioner with Sanford Health. Well child checks are important visits for children of every age. Yearly well child checks are recommended for children 3 and older and more frequently for those younger than 3. It is at these visits that growth, development, and preventative care are addressed in an effort to keep children as healthy as possible. Recommended immunizations are also discussed and provided at these visits. Call 742-3267 to schedule at your local Sanford Health Clinic in Ellendale, Foreman, Gwinner, Lemoore, Lisbon, or Oaks.
Grotberg Electric believes in quality first, taking pride in the work and standing behind every project they do. They bring together the power, technology, and experience to keep your business online. The success of Grotberg Electric depends on 3 major ideals: the quality of their products, the commitment to their customers, and most of all, their customer service. Call Grotberg Electric today at 845-3010 or visit them online, grotbergelectric.com.
Now back to Viking football on the Voice of the Valley, KOVC.
Well, the home season has come to an end for the Vikings in football as they will move to 4-5 today with a win over Presentation College by a final score of 21-10. Next week versus Mayville State, and you heard Coach McCulloch talking about some of the talent that they have at Mayville State. They've got 3 knockout wide receivers that can really, really hurt you in short order, and so that's a tall test coming up for this Viking defense next week.
Yeah, it will be, and you know that Mayville's looked at this game film, or will be looking at this game film, and seeing the success the Presentation had in the third quarter on some of the things that they did, and they're going to feel, oh, we got better skilled kids at wide receiver than PC does.
Yeah.
So
and they do.
Here we go, and so what are they going to do to neutralize our pass rush? Because that will have an effect, and then our staff, they're going to come up with some alternative things they will do defensively.
Yep.
And it's going to be in what's their quarterback situation, because the kid that started the year is a special kid.
Yeah, Tim Salmon, he's a sophomore out of Wisconsin, and he's been very good, and they've had a good unit that has played together. They were all freshmen a year ago.
Right, right. And so, can we keep him from swimming upstream?
Final order of business is our Player of the Game Award, brought to you by Ivy Real Estate. Ivy Real Estate Group, your locally owned real estate brokerage in Valley City, bringing you our Player of the Game Award after every Viking and Highlander football game. And, we take a look at the numbers, and there really aren't numbers out there that jump off the page that would say this is the standout performance of the game by rushing, passing, yardage, that type of thing, even quarterback sacks or that. But you start looking through the moments in the game where things changed, and the one that kind of stuck out in our mind, Blake King with that interception at the end of the game when, PC's trying to stay in the game, right, and at least make it a little bit longer football game. That interception by Blake King shut this thing down today, and so we thought maybe that's the way to go as far as the Player of the Game award. And I think Jahidi West played really well again today, and that defense had a few different men, but senior on his home field, finishing his career at home as a Viking, and he comes up with the interception in the football game. I like it.
And, we just witnessed after the game, and I know that you were busy with some things, but I watched Blake go out onto the center of the field with his Australia flag. He's a native of Sydney.
Okay.
And, I don't think we necessarily understand what it's like going to another country, halfway around the world, and becoming part of a brotherhood in a different part of the world. And it's the last time on that field for him, and it was an emotional thing. And I think he is someone. I'm glad that we can choose him, because what I saw is that's a kid who really understands that it's a privilege to get to do what he got to do, because it's not a native thing in his country.
Sure.
And so really happy for him, and congratulations, and to get a pick like that, keeping them out of the end zone, awesome job, Blake.
Absolutely. So Blake King will be our Player of the Game award winner, brought to you by Ivy Real Estate Group. And now it's on to the Comets. And, it could be a challenge, but, Corey, you've done this for a while, so let's end with this. And a lot of people may not understand that there is a big difference between 4-6 and 5-5. And just explain that to me, not having the losing season? What is that like, and what does that mean to a lot of people?
Well, on the surface, it's a matter of saying we've went X number of years without having a losing season.
Sure.
I mean, there's not a lot of programs that can say that. You know, we get spoiled sometimes by success. But to be able to say, you know, I can go back to 1998. We were 0-10.
Sure.
And we had a lot of great teams. A lot of great teams. Why is that the one that I remember? You know, and unfortunately that becomes one because those who stayed would be champions. And those 0-10 kids became two-time playoff participants, right? And so this 5-5, we still consider a bottoming out. and that means you have a successful program.
Sure.
And you know, we want to always be on the positive side of the ledger, and we're going to do everything we can to be in that situation, and it's putting a streak together, right? How many in a row can we do now? 2 in a row to end of the year, okay? And then let's next year starts next Saturday.
Sure, and that's a lot of times the way this goes. If you're not a playoff team, then next year begins with game 10 of the year before, and so there'll be some of that goes on. And you know, Corey, it's not worth mentioning. I mean, if everybody comes back the way they think, or the way we think they will, there will be some tough decisions here. Noah Chambers, Avery Thorsgaard, what does that look like? Do they both play? Do they both bring different things? Is there going to be a battle in camp for that job next year? Some of that maybe starts next week, too, if both are healthy enough to play, that type of thing.
Absolutely, and I would prefer to look at it like we have only, since I can remember Viking football, have we ever had one successful season with a brand new starting quarterback, and that was, I think, 2014, I believe, with Curtis Walls. Other than that, we have never won with a first-year quarterback. You just don't win in this league with the first-year quarterback. And so, you know, however it goes on either side, we already start ahead. And that's a great thing to have going for us.
Absolutely. There you go. Corey Anderson joining us today for color commentary and analysis. Corey, thank you for lending me your talents in these home games. I certainly do appreciate it. Next year you can make the trip to Forest City, Iowa if you'd like.
Yeah. Yeah. Forest City, Iowa looks good from a distance.
Yes.
I just can't get far enough away.
Yeah, I understand completely. Trust me, I lived it. Corey Anderson joining us here today. My thanks to him as well. My thanks to all of you for tuning in around the area. Viking football again next week, and stay tuned for further broadcast details on Viking volleyball from the North Star Athletic Association tournament coming up on Friday. The matches today will determine what time and that type of thing. And there's some basketball in the offing here as well. University of Jamestown comes calling in basketball next Saturday night. So make some plans to be there as UJ comes to town. That'll be a great battle between the Vikings and the Jimmies. Today, the Vikings win a battle with presentation. 21-10 is your final score. The Vikings move to 4-6 on the season. That'll do it for us today. Thank you for joining us for the broadcast. A big thank you to all of our sponsors. We couldn't do it without them. We'll be back into regular programming in a couple of moments here on Viking Football.
You've been listening to VCSU Viking Football on the Voice of the Valley, KOVC. This game broadcast has been brought to you by CH.